Welcome to HOJO Radio. Our next broadcast is a radio and television comedy series that ran for over 3 decades, from 1932 to 1955 on radio and from 1950 to 1965 on television. It won numerous awards, including the 1959 Emmy for Best Comedy Show, and is generally regarded as the high watermark in 20th century American comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the Jack Benny Program on HOJO Radio.
J-E-L-L-O. The Jell-O Program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Kenny Baker, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with You've Got Everything. Do you remember this popular song called You've Got Everything? Well, you know, that song might well have been dedicated to Jell-O, for really there is one dessert that does have everything. Color, bright, sunshiny, and gay. Flavor, extra rich, cool, and refreshing, as tempting as the real ripe fruit. Ease and speed, for Jell-O dissolves instantly and sets quickly. Economy, Jell-O costs only a few cents a package, and one package serves the average family generously. And variety. For Jell-O offers you dozens and dozens of delicious new dishes. Serve it plain in a colorful mold of beauty. Garnish it with whipped cream or any seasonal fruits. Use it for salads, for Jell-O makes swell salads that even the men folks go for. Yes, sir, one box of Jell-O is filled with real kitchen magic, the kind that every busy woman appreciates. So ask your grocer tomorrow for Jell-O. Look for those big red letters on the box. They spell Jell-O, and Jell-O spells a treat. That was You've Got Everything, played by the orchestra. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you Hollywood's newest glamour boy, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, Don, I appreciate your calling me a glamour boy, but really that's not quite my classification.
Oh, it isn't?
No, Don. According to the latest publicity from Paramount, I'm the oomph man. Oomph.
The oomph man?
Yeah, you see, Don, a glamour boy is merely good looking. But when a star has in addition to that a certain charm and appeal to women, then he becomes an oomph man, which is me.
You better stay out of the hot sun, brother.
Oh, you're here already. Listen, Phil, I'm not a fortune teller and I'm not psychic. But I see you soon scattering your brilliant remarks in greener pastures. And hello. You know, Don, ever since we switched the ending of the picture, Man About Town, and I married Dorothy Lamour, Phil has been a wreck. So jealous because I'm a ladies' man.
Me jealous? Why, every girl you go out with regards you as a big brother.
Well, that's part of my technique. I sneak up on them. So don't be so sour grapesy.
Oh, by the way, Jack, last week you had an argument with the studio about Rochester. Are you going to let him be in the picture?
Rochester? Oh, he's in it already, Don, and am I having trouble with him at the house? The airs he's been putting on.
Oh, getting ritzy, huh?
Ritzy? He bought a sport coat yesterday with 3 belts in the back. Not only that, it's getting so he won't wear anything but silk underwear.
Well, it's all right for him to wear silk underwear, isn't it?
Not when the monogram says J.B. No, sir.
Jack, I can't understand why you keep Rochester when he causes you so much trouble. Why don't you fire him?
Oh, I can't. You see, he found the treasure map of my backyard and won't give it back. But I'll get him in time.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, hello, Mary. Say, Mary, have you heard the latest? They changed the ending of the picture, and instead of Phil getting Dorothy Lamour, I'm the one that marries her.
Yes, I know. She's sick about it.
She's nothing of the kind. You're just making that up because Dorothy happens to be very fond of me. In fact, the other day she gave me an autographed sarong.
How do you look in it?
Gorgeous. Are you surprised?
Oh, Mary, Jack's got a new one. He says that everybody at Paramount's calling him the Oomph Man.
Yeah, but did Jack tell you how he got the title?
Quiet.
The director punched him in the stomach and he went, oomph.
That's not the reason at all. They call me the Oomph Man because in this picture I'm virile and rugged.
Oh, yeah? Tell him what happened when you shot the wedding scene yesterday afternoon.
Oh, well, that was just a novelty, that's all. Something different.
What was it, Mary?
Yeah, tell him.
Oh.
Well, after Jack marries Dorothy, he's supposed to pick her up in his arms and carry her across the threshold.
Mary.
Well, Jack tried and tried, but he couldn't lift her.
And what happened?
She carried him across.
Mary, I told you it was just a novelty, something original.
Well, say, Jack, did you feel kind of silly being carried in a girl's arms?
Well, I didn't mind being in her arms, Don, but when she started to rock me, I thought that was going too far. Anyway, let's drop the whole thing because we've got an important sketch to do tonight. Where's Kenny? Hey, Kenny! Kenny!
What?
It's time for your song.
Well, wait till I get through. The drummer's teaching me how to play poker.
Well, tell him to give you your shirt back and come over here.
Okay.
Phil, I wish you'd tell your boys not to take advantage of Kenny. He's too young to gamble.
Oh, yeah? I got over 1,000 marbles hid under my mattress.
I don't care what you've got. I don't want you learning how to play cards.
I got a fine chance to grow up around here.
Never mind. I don't want any more gambling. Now go ahead, young man, and sing your song.
I will not.
You will, too.
I'll tell you what. I'll match you 2 songs or nothing.
Kenny, sing your song and not another word out of you. Hold it a minute. There's the phone.
I'll bet $5 it's for me.
Quiet. Hello? Yes? Oh, he's right here, Mrs. Wilson. It's for you, Don. It's your wife.
Oh, thanks. Hello, dear. Yes, I know we're having company for dinner. Oh, that's up to you, dear. Any flavor will do. Well, strawberry or raspberry would be swell.
Don, we've got a long play today.
We haven't had cherry in a long time. What about orange, darling?
Don, we've got a long play.
Oh, I know. Let's have lemon.
Don't forget lime. You might as well get them all in.
Well, look, sweetheart, it's all up to you. If you want a real tempting and economical dessert...
Give me that phone. Hello, Mrs. Wilson. Look for the big red letters on the box and hang up. We've got a play to do. Sing, Kenny. That was a frame-up if I ever heard one.
When the somber shadows of the night grow dim, and the daylight dawns on the hillock's brim, in the black of the night by the light of the moon, on the top of the day when the clock is at noon, no matter what the hour, I'm a slave in the grip of your power. Melancholy mood forever haunts me, steals upon me in the night, forever taunts me. Oh, what a lonely soul am I, stranded high and dry by melancholy mood. Gone is every joy and inspiration, tears are all I have to show. No consolation, all I can see is grief and gloom, till the crack of doom, oh, melancholy mood. Deep in the night I search for a trace of a lingering kiss, a warm embrace, but love is a whimsy as flimsy as lace, and my arms embrace an empty space. Melancholy mood, why must you blind me, pity me and break the chains that bind me? Won't you release and set me free? Bring her back to me, oh melancholy mood. Deep in the night I search for a trace of a lingering kiss, a warm embrace, but love is a whimsy as flimsy as lace, and my arms embrace an empty space. Melancholy mood, Why must you blind me, pity me, and break the chains that bind me? Won't you release and set me free? Bring her back to me, oh melancholy moon.
Very good. That was Melancholy Mood, sung by Kenny Baker. And, Kenny, that was a swell song, a natural for you.
I threw a 7, huh?
Kenny. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great treat in store for you. Last week, the Benny Gypsies gave you their interpretation of Gunga Din, which took place in faraway India. And tonight, to show you that we get around, we take you to Boston, Massachusetts, and present our version of Darrell F. Zanuck's outstanding 20th Century Fox production, that grand tribute to a great man and famous scientist, Alexander Graham Bell. Thank you.
Can I go home now, Mr. Benny? I'm all in.
Not yet, JoJo. Now, as you all know, Don Amici portrayed the famous inventor in the picture. So in our version, I will naturally play the title role.
May I ask why?
Certainly. Now, this picture also featured...
I said, why should you be Alexander Graham Bell?
Well, for one thing, Phil, the part fits me. I used to be an inventor myself. Wasn't I, Mary?
Oh, Jack, you weren't the first one to think of putting a mousetrap in a wallet.
I don't mean that. Years ago, when I was in the Navy, I invented a chin rest for portholes. They went over very big. Now, getting back to our play, Mary, you will be my wife, as portrayed on the screen by that sweet, gorgeous, beautiful, and talented young actress, lovely Loretta Young.
Well, if you think she's so good, why didn't you get her?
Don't think I didn't try. We were quite good friends, you know, but she had a previous engagement.
Listen, Dreamer, you're not even acquainted with Loretta Young.
I'm not, eh? It might interest you to know, Phil, that I've got Loretta's address right in my little book.
What book?
Guide to the Movie Stars' Homes.
I mean my little red book. Now, Kenny...
Yes, Jack?
Kenny, when the play opens, I'm a poor, struggling inventor, and you're a wealthy businessman who finances my experiments. Do you think you can handle it?
I'll lay you 3-1, I can.
Now, Kenny... For the last time, I don't want to hear another word about gambling. You're too young. Anyway, you're going to be my backer. And as I was saying, Mary, you're going to be my patient, loyal wife. We've had a hard struggle. I'm trying to invent the telephone, and everybody thinks I'm a madman. They think I'm eccentric. They think I'm crazy. But you, my little wife, what do you think?
What do you think?
Mary, will you please get in the mood, for Pete's sake? Now, the locale...
Say, Alexander, am I going to be in this?
Yes, Phil, you're going to be my assistant who helps me invent the telephone.
But, Jack, I'm a musician, not a mechanic.
Listen, Phil, I'd rather have you tinker with my toaster than tamper with Tannhauser. Any day. Now, our dramatic offering will go on immediately after a number by... Oh, come in.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Hello, Rochester. What do you want?
Say, boss, are you in a pleasant frame of mind this evening, or are you cloaked in gloom?
I'm feeling very good, Rochester. Why?
Well, I got some news that may turn your dabber down.
What? What are you talking about?
Boss, remember when you and I were driving down to the studio in your car tonight?
Yes?
And when the motor kept stalling, you got mad and said, you wish somebody would steal this thing?
Yes?
Well, hallelujah, you're a pedestrian.
A pedestrian?
That's from the Latin.
I know where it's from. You mean to say somebody stole my car?
Well, all I know is I parked the car in front of the studio and went across the street to buy a cigar.
Uh-huh.
And when I got back, there was nothing there but the anchor.
Oh, that's awful. Now, who would want to steal my car?
Somebody that goes blah, 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 blah.
Now, don't be funny. My car's been stolen, and it's nothing to clown about.
Tell me, Jack, did you have any insurance on it?
Only tornado. Ding the luck. Rochester, this is all your fault.
I'm sorry, boss.
Well, it's too late now to be sorry. Now, I want you to go right down to the police station and report the loss. Hurry up.
I ain't going near that police station.
Why not?
I'm behind in my alimony.
Alimony? Why, Rochester, I didn't know you'd been married.
Oh, boss, repeatedly.
Well, that's your business. Now get going.
Okay, goodbye.
So long.
Oh, say, Rochester, I see you're playing a part in our picture.
Yeah, that's right.
How you coming along?
Mr. Harris, I'm in the groove, on the beam, and dog victory. So long.
He's the biggest ham I ever saw.
The biggest, Jack?
Yes, the biggest. And I'm going to get out that car back if I have to offer a reward. Play, Phil. Now, where would I go if I were a Maxwell?
Snug as a bug in a rug, whenever you hold me tight, cozy and warm on the chilliest night. Just as snug as a bug in a rug, whenever I feel your kiss. Talk about home, home was never like this. First your arms come stealing, and my heart goes on a roller coaster. Then I get that feeling like a little piece of toast in a toaster. Gee, but my life would be cold without your delicious hug, keeping me snug as a bug in a rug.
That was Snug as a Bug in a Rug, played by a mug in his lugs. How was that, Phil?
Thanks for the plug, Slug.
Going from that neat bit of comedy to our dramatic highlight of the season, we are now going to offer our contribution to the annals of scientific progress. That epic of American ingenuity, Alexander Graham Bell. Wait for me. Now, the locale of our play is Boston, Massachusetts, in the year 1870. The scene is the little attic laboratory where we find Professor Bell and his assistant, Mr. Harris, working feverishly on their great invention, the telephone. Mrs. Bell has just entered the room. Curtain. Music.
I'll take it. Hello? Alexander Graham Bell's residence. What? No, you can't talk to him. He's busy inventing the telephone. Goodbye.
I'll say I am. Oh, Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Professor Bell?
I think I've got something here. Hand me that duplex circuit repeater and the multiple induction coil. I'll attach them to the supervisory electromagnetic oscillator.
You're kidding.
I am not. Give me a hand. Give me a hand with this quadruplix frictional deflector.
Okay, here's the metallic cylindrical felicitator.
What's that?
The screwdriver.
Oh, trying to top me, eh? Wait a minute. I'll use this little hammer. There, that's coming along all right.
Say, Alex, I wish you'd hurry up and invent this telephone. The blonde gave me your number this morning, and I want to call her up.
Has she got a friend?
Oh, and she's gorgeous.
Oh, what am I rushing for? I'm married. I'm so absent-minded. But I'll tell you one thing, Harris. We got to work fast if we expect any more help from our financial baker, Mr. Backer. Our financial backer, Mr. Baker. Now, help me with this vacuum generator.
Oh, darling, you look tired. You're working too hard, Alex. Much too hard.
I am?
Yeah, look at those bags under Harris's eyes.
Oh, well, he got those on his own time. But, darling, I must work hard. I know it's a mad dream. I know it sounds impossible. But I'm going to invent the telephone, or my name ain't Alexander Graham Bell. Come on, Harris. Let's get to work. Come in.
Well, what's this?
This is the laboratory.
Oh, pardon me.
Darn these interruptions. Harris. Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, hand me that annunciator magneto.
Here you are.
Hello? Oh, hello, Barbara.
Now, hand me that vibrator.
Okay, Alex.
Did you have a good time last night? Who was there?
Oh, it still won't regenerate.
They were?
Hand me some more of that copper wire.
Here you are, Professor.
Well, look, Barbara, we'd love to come over, but Alex is still working on that invention of his.
How's it coming, Professor?
I'm afraid it won't work, Harris. I'm afraid it's a failure.
Oh, it's some gadget he calls a telephone, but it'll never be a success.
I got another idea, Harris. Hand me that rheostat.
All right, Barbara, I'll call you later. Goodbye.
I don't know, Harris. The more I work on this, the tougher it seems to get. Sometimes I get so discouraged.
Don't give up, Prof.
I won't. Come in. Well, hello, Mr. Baker.
Hello, Alex. How's everything coming along?
I'm making great progress, Mr. Baker. Great progress. You see, it's my theory that if I could make a current of electricity vary in intensity, precisely as the air varies in density during the production of multiple sounds, I should be able to transmit speech electromagnetically.
Oh, you can talk plainer than that.
But unfortunately, Mr. Baker, my financial resources are depleted. And before I can continue with my experiment, I must have additional monetary aid.
You mean more casheroo?
That's a bullseye if I ever heard one.
Well, how much do you want?
$4 million.
Yes!
Oh, I know. I know that sounds like a lot. But you've already given me $32. What's $4 million? What do you say? Why don't you gamble with me?
You said I was too young.
That was in the first routine. Oh, Mr. Baker, if I don't get the money from you, where else can I get it?
You mean I'm the only sucker in the world?
Yes.
All right, then, Alex. I'll give it to you.
Hooray! Did you hear that, darling? Did you hear that, Harris? He's going to give us $4 million.
Here you are, Professor. $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $10.
2 years later.
$1,993. $1,994. $1,995. $1,995.
4 years later.
$3,999,998.
Yes?
$3,999,999.
Yes, yes.
And 40 cents. I don't think I can make it.
Well, that's close enough. Thanks.
Well, I gotta go now. Goodbye.
Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Baker. Where can I reach you in case I need you again?
In the poorhouse. So long.
Oh, boy. $4 million. I wonder how he could carry so much money in his pockets.
He's got 2 pair of pants.
Oh. Well, Harris, we've got the money. You know what that means? You know what all this money means to us?
Yes, I can tie a can to my orchestra.
Yes, thank heaven. And it also means that I can finish my work, complete my invention. The telephone must and will be perfected. Let's go!
6 weeks later, and on March 10th, 1876, in the public auditorium in Boston, Massachusetts, the first telephone, a crude instrument, stands on the desk before Professor Bell. For the first time in history, he is about to transmit the human voice.
Quiet, gentlemen, please. Now, gentlemen, all I ask of you is to have patience. You're about to witness the most amazing demonstration of our time. Gentlemen, please.
Bring it on. What are you stalling for? Yippee!
Young man, I'm introducing a telephone, not a fan dancer. Now, gentlemen, in just a moment I will transmit my voice by wire to Professor Homer J. Osgood, who is waiting on the other end of this line in Baltimore, 500 miles away. Silence, please. All right, gentlemen, the experiment begins. Mr. Harris, lift the receiver.
Yes, Professor.
Hello. Hello, Baltimore. Baltimore, hello. Hello, Baltimore. Hello, Baltimore. This will work. This must work. Hello, Baltimore. Baltimore, hello.
Did you put a nickel in?
Quiet. Gentlemen, please. Please give me a chance. Hello. Hello, Baltimore. Baltimore, hello.
Boston Meat Market, your order, please.
Get off the line. I want Baltimore. Don't worry, gentlemen, I'll get it. Hello. Hello, Baltimore. Hello. Hello.
Jello!
I said hello.
And I said Jello!
Hang up. I want Baltimore. Don't get disgusted, gentlemen. This will work. This must work. Hello. Hello, Baltimore. Baltimore, hello. Baltimore, hello. 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 Hello.
Hello, stranger.
At last. Professor Osgood, can you hear me?
What?
I said, can you hear me? Am I coming over?
Don't come over this week. We got relatives.
I mean, am I coming over the wire? Can you hear my voice?
What?
My voice.
Oh, my boy's fine. He's in college.
No, not your voice, my voice. Sound.
That's what I said. My son's in college.
Look, Professor Osgood, this is Alexander Graham Bell talking. This is important. This is for the advancement of science. Now, if you can hear me, repeat this sentence. I hear you clearly. Have you got that? I hear you clearly.
I love you dearly.
Hooray! There you are, gentlemen. The telephone is a success. Ah, what a triumph. What a dramatic situation. What a picture this would make.
I'll buy it.
Thank you, Mr. Zanuck. Play, Phil.
I bet a lot of you men heard this line today. Say, Daddy, can we please go for an automobile ride? Well, next time that happens and you get home kind of tired and hot, ask your wife for this cool, refreshing Jello dessert, Jello a la mode. She won't mind, for it's quick and easy to make. Dissolve 1 package of raspberry Jello in 1 pint of hot water. Turn into a shallow pan and chill until firm. Then take a sharp knife and cut the Jello into shimmering rose-red cubes. Pile the Jello cubes into sherbet glasses and top with the vanilla ice cream, or do it the other way around. Place the ice cream in sherbet glasses and top with Jello cubes. It's a swell hot weather dessert and one that's bound to be popular. But here's a special word to wives. Be sure to make your Jello a la mode with genuine Jello if you want that tempting, delicious, extra-rich flavor, that colorful summertime beauty. Ask your grocer tomorrow for raspberry Jello.
This is the last number of the 35th program in the new Jello series, and we will be with you again next Sunday night at the same time. Now, come on with me, Mary. I'm going over to the police station and get a squad of men to go out and look for my car.
J. Edgar Hoover's in town. Why don't you get him, too?
He's just the man I need. Good night, folks.
Kenny Baker appears on the Jell-O program for courtesy of Mervyn LeRoy Productions.
Snug as a Bug is from the film The Gracie Allen Murder Case. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
HOJO Radio, we're your old-time radio headquarters. Stay tuned.
J-E-L-L-O. The Jell-O program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Kenny Baker, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with From Alpha to Omega. What is so rare as a day in June, cried the poet. Well, I know something. That's a June bride who can turn out a perfect home-cooked meal. But don't be downhearted. That new husband of yours will forgive you for an awful lot if you bring on a swell-looking, swell-tasting dessert. And that means Jell-O. There's no fuss or trouble with Jell-O. There's nothing to go wrong. Dissolves instantly in hot water, sets quickly in icebox or refrigerator, and comes out in a shimmering mold of beauty that looks and tastes like $1 million. There are 6 delicious flavors, and every one is extra rich. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and lime. They're simply swell, served just as is, or you can garnish them with any fruits in season. And Jell-O is one of the thriftiest desserts you can serve. Every husband appreciates that. So skip around to your grocer tomorrow and look for those big red letters on the box that spell Jell-O. That was From Alpha to Omega, played by the orchestra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Hollywood. In just a moment, you will hear from your Hollywood reporter with his frank comments about motion pictures, radio, and their glamorous stars. A man who will startle you with his sensational scoops. And here he is, folks, that human dynamo, Jimmy Fiddler Benny.
Hello again, this is Jimmy Benny the Fiddler, coming to you from Hollywood. Hollywood, that small body of land entirely surrounded by racetracks. And here we go with our news bulletin. Exclusive. Now that Robert Taylor and Barbara Stanwyck are married, and Tyrone Power has recently wed Annabella, who will be next? Gossips have it that May Robeson and Mickey Rooney have been seen dining and dancing together in the late night spot. But take it from me, they are just good friends. Attention, New York reporters. Eddie Cantor, comedian, noted for his 5 daughters, is in your town celebrating his 25th wedding anniversary. On their way back to California, Eddie and his wife Ida will spend a week at Sun Valley. Watch this column for further development. Back to Hollywood. Movie stars seen recently in Ruby Poo's Chinese restaurant ordering their specialty, Egg Foo Young, were Robert Young, Loretta Young, Roland Young, Victor Young, Clara Kimball Young, and young Dr. Kildare. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a special scoop.
Hello, Jack. What are you doing?
Quiet, Mary. More Hollywood news. Miss Ginger Fizdale, new child singing discovery, who is destined to become a great star, will be professionally known as Gin Fizz. She is 3 years old, and in her first screen effort, Bobby Green will play the part of her father. More Hollywood news.
Oh, Jack, let me do one.
All right.
I have it on good authority that the Paramount studio is planning to build Jack Benny's next picture around him.
That's right.
As soon as he is completely hidden, they will release it.
Quit making things up and give me that. Intimate notes from my little black book. Observed recently coming out of Maisie's fashionable beauty parlor in Beverly Hills were Joan Bennett, Myrna Loy, Carol Lombard, Hedy Lamarr, and Phil Harris. When confronted, the popular band leader claimed he made a mistake. The sign said Maisie's Salon, but he thought it was Muzzie's Saloon. And now a word from our sponsor. Take it, Don.
Jell-O. Take it, Jack.
Good. Open letter. Open letter to Fred Allen. Dear Mr. Allen, I understand you are going off the air shortly for a well-deserved vacation in the rock-bound state of Maine. You've earned that vacation, Fred, and you need it. Boy, how you need it. But before you go, Fred, may I give you this friendly bit of advice? Instead of coming back on the air next fall, get out those Indian clubs and that green wig and go back to vaudeville. Believe me, I'm speaking as your affectionate friend, Jimmy Fiddler Benny. Previews of the new picture. The first picture I recommend tonight is the Jones family in a gopher hole. This is a 2-bell picture. Now this 3-bell picture is good, clean fun for the entire family. The next picture I recommend is Charlie Chan in St. Paul, or Mr. Moto in Minneapolis. This mystery gets 3.5 bells. The plot is fascinating. It is about 3 smart girls who grow up in Dodge City. And the high spot of the picture is when the Cisco Kid falls off of Wuthering Heights. Oh, don't miss it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to recommend wholeheartedly, with no reservations whatsoever, Paramount's latest comedy triumph, Man About Town, starring Jack Benny. I give this picture... Don't miss this picture, folks. It has plenty on the bell. Take it, Mr. Wilson.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember that old proverb, a rolling stone gathers no moss? Well, if you want a tempting and delicious dessert, you must get Jell-O.
Oh, Uncle.
So look for the big red letters on the box.
Thank you, Don. Well, it's about all the news for tonight, folks. But before I go, I want to leave you with this thought. When you've reached the top of the ladder of success, don't forget your friends. And your relatives won't forget you. So until we meet again, this is Jimmy Fiddler Benny saying good night to you, and I do mean yoo-hoo! Take it, Maestro. Finish, played by Phil Harris and his orchestra. And Phil, that was the best number you've done this season. You know, there wasn't one sour note in the whole thing. Not one.
Some shock, eh, kid?
You said it. Say, Phil, how'd you like my little takeoff on Jimmy Fiddler? I had some pretty hot news there, didn't I?
Hot news, nothing. I haven't been to Macy's beauty parlor in 2 weeks.
You haven't?
Why, Phil Harris, I saw you in there last Thursday getting a permanent wave.
Oh, then I was right about that little item. Imagine a man sitting in a beauty parlor having his hair curled.
Why don't you send yours over sometime?
Never mind my hair. Say, where's Kenny? I've got another big scoop that I've been saving, and I want everybody to hear it. Hey, Kenny.
Here I am, Jack. I was up on the roof taking a sun bath.
Oh, up on the roof, eh?
Gee, I got a headache.
Well, naturally, you stayed out in the hot sun too long.
Well, it wasn't that. I fell down the elevator shaft.
Oh, my goodness. Why don't you look where you're going?
Gee whiz, Jack, it was the funniest feeling.
What do you mean?
I stepped in and said, main floor, please, and I got it right in the kisser.
Well, for heaven's sake, watch yourself from now on.
What's all the news you're going to tell us, Jack?
Oh, yes. Now, listen carefully, everybody, and this is on the level. You know, 2 weeks from tonight, we do our last broadcast of the season. And we're going to do it from Waukegan, Illinois.
Waukegan?
Boy.
Yes, sir. And the same night, we're going to have the world premiere of Man About Town.
No kidding, Jack. Are we really going to walk in?
Yep, 2 weeks from today, we'll be in my little hometown. Boy, what a hot time we'll have.
We'll have to have it before 9 p.m.
Phil, they've abolished that curfew. There's plenty of excitement there now.
Well, I was there last summer, and they rang that bell right on the stroke of 9.
That wasn't a bell. They were kicking the gong around. They'll show you a thing or two, brother.
Well, I'm wide open, sister.
Don't worry, Phil. You'll be able to keep those bags under your eyes. You won't lose them. And now, ladies and gentlemen...
See, if we're going to Waukegan, I gotta get some new clothes.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as I announced last week...
Me too.
As I announced last week, tonight the Benny 2 tickets for the price of 1 players will present their version of the...
I need a new evening gown.
Will present their version of Darrell F. Zanuck...
I need some white flannels.
Of Darrell F. Zanuck's thrilling white flannels. Or murder mystery. Will you kids be quiet? You got a whole week to get ready. Their murder mystery, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Now, in this gripping drama...
I need a new grip, too.
Kenny. I will play the part of Sherlock Holmes, the internationally famous detective. Kenny Baker will be my assistant, Dr. Watson. And Andy Devine, where's Andy?
Here I am, Bob.
Gee, came in like China across the bay, didn't it? Now, Andy, you'll play the part of the vicious, snarling, murderous hound. Do you think you can do it? Perfect. Now, this play will go on...
Say, Buck, am I going to Waukegan with you?
You certainly are, Andy.
Then I better put my shoes on.
Yeah, you'll never regret it. You'll have the time of your life. Now, our play will go on immediately after... I'll take it. Hello? Who? Plainfield, New Jersey? That must be for you, Mary.
Oh, gee, I'll bet it's Mama.
Yes, Tugboat Annie is on the wire.
Hello? Oh, hello, Mama. Gee, this is a surprise. What? You've been listening to the program? How is it? Oh, it does?
She should be so critical.
What, Mama?
She was thrown out of the floor door at Sextet for wearing red bloomers.
Yes, we're going to Waukegan. It's Jack's hometown. Yes, he was born there right above a clothing store. Oh, Mama, are you corny?
What'd she say?
Suits and clucks.
That's about her speed.
Well, look, Mama, I got a great idea. Why don't you and Papa come to visit me in Waukegan? We can spend a few days together and you can see Jack's new picture. Oh, I don't know. I'll find out. Say, Jack, are they going?
No, certainly not.
No, Mama, no free dishes.
Tell her to stay home, Mary. I'll be busy enough that week.
Well, I gotta hang up now. I'll write you later. Goodbye, Mama. Goodbye. Oh, Jack, hasn't Mama got the most wonderful sense of humor?
Oh, she's a gem. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. Our play, The Hound of the Baskervilles, will go on right after Kenny Baker's song. Go ahead, Kenny.
Okay. Say, Jack,
What?
you know any dames in Waukegan?
I certainly do.
Are they good looking?
They certainly are.
Can you get me a date with one of them?
He certainly can't.
Don't worry now, Kenny. You'll be all fixed up. Go ahead with your song. All right, Andy. Excuse me, fellas. I got to take Andy out for a walk.
We meet and the angels sing. The angels sing the sweetest song I ever heard. You speak and the angels sing, or am I breathing music into every word. Suddenly the setting is strange. I can see water and moonlight beaming, silver waves that break on some undiscovered shore. Suddenly I see it all change. Long winter nights with the candles gleaming, through it all your face that I adore. You smile and the angels sing, and though it's just a gentle murmur at the start, we kiss and the angels sing and leave their music ringing in my
That was And the Angels Sing, sung by Kenny Baker, the little devil of the Jell-O program. And now for our feature attraction, that thrilling detective mystery, The Hound of the Baskervilles, or The Mayor of Van Nuys. Say, Andy, I think you ought to try that howl just once more. It's very important to our plot.
Okay.
Very good. Now, the opening scene of our play is the residence of Sherlock Holmes in London, England. As the curtain rises, we find Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson in the library. Curtain. Music. Excuse me, Watson. Hello? Sherlock Holmes on this end. Are you on your end? Oh, it's you, Lord Trickletot. What? Your son has run away with a chorus girl? Well, why worry about it? Oh, you saw her first. Very well, I'll get on the trail immediately. Toodaloo. Your son is always up to something or other. Dr. Watson. Watson, what are you doing there?
I'm looking over the mail.
Anything important?
I'll say you got a postcard from Paris.
Well, put down that magnifying glass and give it to me.
Okay.
I say, this is from Fifi, the little dancer I met at the Folies Bergère. He says, Dear Sherlock, qu'est-ce qui c'est, voulez-vous? Venez elle de quoi très chaud.
What does that mean?
Long time no see. I think I'll run over to Paris and visit her.
But what about your work here, Sherlock? After all, you're a detective.
Well, I gotta chercher la femme, don't I? I tell you, Watson, it's so dull around here. The cases I've been getting lately are ridiculously simple. They're not baffling enough. There's no excitement. What was that?
It's 12:30.
Oh, yes. You know, Watson, if there isn't any more action around here, I'm going to take a vacation. There's someone at the door.
I wonder who it is, Sherlock.
It's a young lady about 23 years of age, with beautiful blonde hair, blue eyes, and a divine figure.
Why, that's amazing. How do you know?
Well, to tell the truth, Watson, I'm just hoping. Come in.
Hello.
Oh, shucks, it's Mary.
Quiet, Watson. How do you do, madam?
How do you do? Oh, Mr. Holmes, you must help me. You must.
What seems to be the trouble, young lady?
Well, you see, Mr. Holmes, I'm engaged to Philip Baskerville, the son of Sir Hugo Baskerville.
Oh, Sir Hugo. I know him well. He's quite a lively old boy.
Well, he's calmed down considerably. He was murdered last night.
Well, that'll do it every time. Now, are you sure Sir Hugo is dead?
I'm positive.
How do you know?
He doesn't giggle when we dust him off.
Then he is dead. Continue, my dear.
Well, according to the legend of the Baskervilles, Sir Philip, my fiancé, is the next one marked for death.
Amazing.
The first Baskerville was killed. So was the second. Then the third and the fourth.
I see. And Sir Philip is next?
Yes, when they get him, it's bingo.
It's a very interesting case. Now tell me, Miss...
Lady Barrow.
Lady Barrow, is there any clue to these murders?
Only one. Before each death, we always hear the howling of a dog on the lonely moor outside the castle. Oh, it's ghastly.
Oh, a dog, eh? Then we have a clue already. Lady Barrow, I'll be glad to take the case. My fee, of course, will be $1,000.
You won't get it, of course.
Of course. Make a note of that, Watson.
Okay. No sale.
You may go now, Lady Barrow. Dr. Watson and I will follow immediately.
Thank you.
Oh, tell me. I've never been to Baskerville Castle. How will I find it?
Very drafty. Goodbye.
Well, at last, Watson, we've got a case worthy of my merit. Let's hurry. We haven't a moment to lose.
Scene 2. 3 hours later, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson have just crossed the dark and desolate moor and are approaching Baskerville Castle.
What a night. Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson, is that you behind me?
Yeah.
Stick close to me.
Gee, I can't see a thing. It sure is dark tonight.
I'll say it's dark. I just saw an owl with a lantern. Look, Watson, do you see that light up ahead?
Yes, that must be the place.
I'm positive. Let's hurry. This is the castle, all right. Look at that coat of arms on the door. It says Baskerville Hall. In hoc signum multum paro. What does that mean?
No cover charge.
If this is the Wilshire Bowl, I'll kill myself. Ring the bell, Watson.
Okay.
Cheerful little spot.
How do you do, gentlemen?
Is this Baskerville Castle?
Yes. Whom shall I say is calling?
Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. Smarty.
Gee, I wish I could do that.
You fall down that elevator shaft a couple of more times and you'll be all set. Where's Lady Barrow?
Follow me, gentlemen. Lady Barrow, the detectives have arrived.
Thank you, Butch. You may go.
I'll go, but watch your step, Mr. Holmes. You may be next.
Now, Lady Barrow.
Wait a minute. I'm not through.
Silly boy. Now, Lady Barrow, I want to meet your guests and question them.
Very well. First, I'd like you to meet my fiancé, Sir Philip Baskerville.
Hello, Sir Philip.
How do you do, Mr. Holmes? Weren't you once the house detective at the Savoy Ritz?
No, that was my brother that used to throw you out. He's not there anymore.
Oh, goody.
And this is Dr. Wilson, our family physician.
Good evening, Doctor. Can you give us any information about the late Sir Hugo Baskerville?
Yes, he was very fond of Jell-O.
Make a note of it, Watson.
Okay, commercial taken care of.
Very good.
And now, Mr. Holmes, may I present Madame Zaraki, the famous psychic. She has supernatural power.
Ah, good evening, Madame Zaraki.
Good evening, Mr. Holmes. And that's Sir Hugo lying across the table.
Oh, the victim. Well, that's the first time I ever saw Sir Hugo on top of a table. Well, now that I've met everyone, I've got to get to work and solve this case. The victim looks as though he met a violent death. Look at the way his clothes are torn. And those long scratches on his throat.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it, I tell you. I didn't do it. I swear it wasn't me.
We know it wasn't you, Dr. Watson.
Don't be too sure.
Quiet. Sir Philip.
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
You inherit a lot of money by Sir Hugo's death. Tell me, where were you at the time of the murder?
You can't pin this on me. I've got an ironclad alibi.
Oh, you have, eh? Well, just answer my question. Where were you at the time of the murder?
In Maisie's beauty parlor, and you know it.
Well, somebody committed this crime, and I'm going to find out who it is.
Maybe I can help you, Mr. Holmes.
Help me? How, Madame Zaraki?
Sir Hugo himself will tell me.
Well, Sir Hugo is dead.
I know, but I will talk to his spirit in the great beyond.
Why, that's impossible.
Oh, she's very good. She got South America this morning.
Why, this is ridiculous. But we'll try it.
Now will you all please sit around in a circle and hold hands?
Oh, all right. Come on, everybody.
Oh, I think the whole thing's fake.
Now turn off the lights. Quiet, everybody. Now concentrate. Concentrate on Sir Hugo. Sir Hugo. Sir Hugo, are you there?
This is silly.
Sir Hugo, if you are there, answer me.
Bosh, it'll never work.
Yeah, bosh.
Quiet, Watson.
Sir Hugo, we are calling you. If you hear my voice, answer me. Answer me.
Oh, I hear you, madam.
What? Did you hear that, Watson?
Yeah.
Madam Zareki, can I speak to him now?
Yes, but don't lose the contact.
I won't. Sir Hugo, do you hear me?
Yes.
Then tell me, how were you killed?
Well, I was out walking on the moor last night.
Yes.
And just as I got to the garden wall, I saw a huge cypress across me. All of a sudden, I started for it, and he grabbed me by the cypress across me. I couldn't get my somebody all that fast. But that didn't kill me.
It should have.
Quiet. But Sir Hugo, if that didn't kill you, what did?
Well, I picked myself up and ran toward the house.
Uh-huh.
Just as I got there was a huge phone. And he finished like a soul of it. You know that, Doctor?
Yes.
Well, the whole time of scene is faded, and there I am on the table.
But Sir Hugo, you still haven't told us. Who committed this crime? Who murdered you?
Very well. I was killed by...
Put in a nickel, please, for 5 more minutes.
Get off the line, operator. Continue, Sir Hugo. Your murder must be avenged.
I was killed by... Stop! I can't stand it any longer. I confess I did it. I killed him.
Ha! I knew it all the time.
I don't know why I did it. I must have been mad, crazy, delirious.
Slap the handcuffs on him, Watson. The case of the Baskervilles is solved.
Hey, Sherlock, what about me?
Oh, my goodness, I forgot all about the hound. I'm sorry, Andy. Play, Phil.
The other day I heard a woman say, when I feel like going fancy on desserts, I want to go fancy in a great big way. Well, I hope she's listening, for here's the answer. A brand new dessert called Deluxe Strawberry Loaf. Strawberry jello, juicy fruit berries, and creamy marshmallows, combined in a shimmering mold of jello. And here's the way to make it. Dissolve 1 package of strawberry jello in 1 pint of hot water and chill until cold and syrupy. Then place in a bowl of cracked ice and whip it up with a rotary egg beater until the jello is fluffy and thick like pink whipped cream. Now fold in 2 cups of sweetened sliced strawberries, 6 marshmallows finely cut, and 1 cup of whipped cream. Mold in a loaf pan, and take it from me, there is a deluxe dessert. A lovely, shimmery loaf of whipped rose pink jello filled with fresh berries and foamy marshmallows. So try it soon. Ask your grocer tomorrow for strawberry jello.
This is the last number of the 37th program in the new Jello series, and we will be with you again next Sunday night at the same time. And Andy, I'm awfully sorry I overlooked you in our play. I don't know how I ever happened to forget about the hound.
Oh, that's all right, Buck.
You want to howl now? Was that a dog?
Sounded like the 5:15.
It sure did. Good night, folks.
Kenny Baker appears on the Jello program for courtesy of Mervyn LeRoy Productions. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Our next popular broadcast began in August of 1949 on NBC Radio and ran until November of 1953. Set in the Midwest, it starred Robert Young as General Insurance Agent Jim Anderson and portrayed an idealized vision of middle-class American life of the era. It was created by writer Ed James. While the show is often regarded as an example of conservative nature of the American family life in the 1950s, it's also cited as to be slightly rosy portrayal as well. We proudly present to you Father Knows Best on HOJO Radio.
Mother, our post 40%.
When relatives arrive for a visit after a long absence, the opening remarks generally follow a very familiar pattern.
Now, Aunt Thelma, who is stopping off at the Andersons between trains, isn't one to change things. That's why we find the family gathered in the living room.
Over a year now. Now, let's see. Who do they look like? Margaret, I do believe that Bud looks like you. No, on second thought, he does have Jim's eyes. And at times he has certain expressions that... Bud, smile for me once.
Huh?
Smile for Aunt Thelma.
Oh, that was Jim, all right.
That was me?
And this is Kathleen. My, what a sweet little angel.
Thank you.
Bud.
Margaret, I don't believe Kathy looks too much like you. Or for that matter, Jim either. Oh? I don't see any resemblance in the eyes and the nose. And what is there about her mouth?
Blueberry jam?
Bud, that wasn't necessary. I do believe, though, that Kathleen favors your side of the family, Margaret. That could very well be. But come to think of it, she does look quite a bit like Aunt Florence. No, maybe it's Uncle Harold. No, but there is somebody in that family that Kathleen resembles very closely.
Their Cocker Spaniel?
Bud.
I was just trying to be helpful.
Somebody came in, Mommy.
Oh, it's Betty. Betty, Aunt Thelma's here.
Hello, Aunt Thelma.
My, she's certainly growing into a fine-looking young woman.
Thank you. I hate to be seen like this, Mother, but the most awful thing has happened. Just look at the back of my head.
Your hair? Well, it looks like it's been chopped off.
I was over at Janie's, and she was trimming my hair for the party tonight.
Oh?
And she was doing a wonderful job when that brat of a brother of hers came in and dropped a frog down her neck.
Oh, no.
Father, it's not the least bit funny.
Well, it was lucky you weren't hurt.
When Janie jumped, she gouged out a big chunk of hair. And she's been spending the last hour trying to even it up.
Oh, dear.
Mother, does the back of my head really look bad?
From here, it looks like somebody forgot to replace a divot.
Father, I'm not amused.
I do believe Betty looks like one of the Mortensen girls.
With that haircut, she looks more like one of the Mortensen boys.
Mother, I'm not going to the party tonight.
Oh, Betty, it isn't as bad as your father and Bud make out.
It looks pretty bad.
Kathy, you run out and play.
Okay. I'm not even going out of the house until my hair grows in.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, just one of the many problems in raising a family, Aunt Thelma.
By the way, Aunt Thelma, how was your visit with Helen and Roy? Oh, just fine. Although, just between us, I did get kind of heaved at them. Oh? You know, when I sold my home and moved into an apartment, I gave away a lot of my nice things to the relatives instead of having them stored. Yes, you were very generous. Well, I gave Helen and Roy this very beautiful love seat, and I assumed that they'd prize it as I did. But lo and behold, I went down in their basement, and there, stored away like so much junk, was the love seat. Oh, dear. Frankly, I was furious, and I let them know it in no uncertain terms.
You could hardly be blamed.
I have no patience with people who can't appreciate beautiful things. By the way, I imagine you folks are getting a lot of enjoyment out of the lamp I gave you.
Lamp?
The one with the green glass shade and the gold tassels.
Oh, that lamp. Well,
I think I'll go out in the kitchen and put some water on to boil. You like posting, don't you, Aunt Thelma? Oh, yes.
Good idea, honey. Do you use cream, Auntie?
Yes, I do.
Good. I'll go out and help pour the cream.
Never mind, Dad. I'll help Mom.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Very helpful children.
I thought surely I'd see my lamp here in the living room.
Well, we did have it here, but it made the rest of our furniture look so shabby.
But you are using it.
Oh, yes, of course.
Where?
In the playroom.
The playroom? Oh, it was too good for your living room, but you put it in your playroom.
Well, it was a matter of the lamp fitting in with the scheme of things. It's so distinctive.
I see. Well, anyway, you haven't got it stored away someplace where it's nothing but a dust catcher. Oh, Jim.
Excuse me, Aunt Thelma. Yes, Margaret?
Now you've done it.
Done what?
Telling Aunt Thelma her lamp was in the playroom.
Well, it was in the playroom until I couldn't stand the sight of the monstrosity.
Dear, I realize it wasn't the prettiest lamp in the world.
Margaret, I've won better-looking lamps than that throwing baseballs at milk bottles.
So it wasn't too attractive.
And that green glass shade. Everybody in the room looked like they had a bad ocean crossing.
But, Jim, you know how Aunt Thelma is. Before she leaves, she'll want to see every room in the house, and when she goes into the playroom and there's no lamp, well, look out.
Margaret, there's nothing to get excited about. I'll see that the lamp is in the playroom before she goes down there.
Well, where is it now?
It must be up in the attic with the rest of the junk. Honey, you brought this whole thing on yourself. When she first offered you the lamp, you should have politely told her that we didn't need it.
Oh, I couldn't do that. She was kind enough to give it to us instead of leaving it with some storage company.
And the storage company probably refused it.
Margaret, I just adore your house.
Well, thank you.
I've been showing Aunt Thelma around.
Is the water boiling yet, dear?
No, not yet.
Certainly like your kitchen.
Wait till you see the playroom.
Excuse me just a moment.
Why, Jim, I thought we were going to...
Be right back. Oh, Bud.
What do you want, Dad?
Look, while your Aunt Thelma and Mother and I are in the kitchen, I want you to go up to the attic, get Aunt Thelma's lamp, bring it down, take it out through the front door, then into the playroom by way of the side door.
Why can't Kathy do it?
Because this has to be done right. Now get going. I'll keep Aunt Thelma occupied in the kitchen until your mission is completed.
Okay.
Dear, your postum's getting cold.
Coming, honey.
Margaret, that certainly hit the spot. Now, if you'll excuse me...
won't you have another cup, Aunt Thelma?
No, thank you.
Cookies?
No.
Donut?
No, thanks.
Could we make you some toast?
Dear.
Well, she's had a long trip. I thought she might be hungry.
Oh, indeed, I have had a long trip. That's why I want to get up and stretch my legs. Now, I don't want you two to worry about me. I'll just browse around the house.
Why don't you wait a couple of minutes and I'll show you around?
Oh, that won't be necessary, Jim. Now, as I recall, this door over here leads to the basement and playroom, right?
Here, I'll go with you.
Oh, now, Jim, I told you it really isn't necessary.
Now, right here is the kitchen.
Yes. I've been sitting in it for the past 10 minutes.
And then, right off the kitchen here is the broom closet.
Very handy.
Well, there's the broom. And hanging right next to it is the mop.
Yes.
Each one has its own separate hook.
So I see.
For a long time, Margaret hung the broom and the mop on the same hook. Didn't you, Margaret?
Yes, I did.
When did I put in that other hook?
Oh, I believe it was about 4 years ago.
No, I think it was 5 years ago.
Well, I'm sure it really doesn't matter.
Oh, but it does. It's amazing how much easier it's been for Margaret since she's had one hook for the mop and one hook for the broom.
Jim, there's still a lot of the house I haven't seen.
Then on the floor here we have the mop bucket.
Yes.
With wringer attached.
Oh, goodness gracious, what was that?
What was what?
Well, that noise.
Noise?
It sounded like glass breaking.
Probably just Kathy dropping a bottle of pop or something.
That crash? A bottle of pop?
A king-size bottle.
Jim, maybe you'd better investigate.
I'm going to. You ladies stay there. Bud.
Yeah, Dad?
Oh, no. Look at that mess.
I missed the top step.
Yes, but it looks like you hit all the rest.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Well, I guess it serves us right. We should have told Aunt Thelma the whole ugly truth in the first place.
I don't get you.
That was the only reason I had you sneaking around, so that you could get her lamp down from the attic into the basement.
But I didn't break her lamp.
What?
Well, when you told me to go up to the attic, I figured I might as well take that old fishbowl up from the garage. Well, you've been after me to store it in the attic.
Oh. Well, then this mess is what's left of the fishbowl?
Yeah. Do you want me to go up and get the lamp now?
No.
Why?
Why? How can you stand there ankle deep in broken glass and ask a question like that?
Well, I just thought...
Get the broom. Betty. Oh, Betty.
Yes, Father?
Would you go in the attic and get Aunt Thelma's lamp? And when I tell you that the coast is clear down here...
Father, I can't hear you.
I said go in the attic and... I'll get it, Margaret. Hello. Yeah, it's for you, Betty.
What do you want, Father?
I'll explain as soon as you get off the phone. Now, hurry.
Hello? Oh, hi, Peggy. No, Peg, I'm not going to the party tonight. Oh, it's a long story.
Tell her you'll call her back.
Who? Art Schaefer's going to be there. Oh, now I am sick. What? Trudy told Georgia that she'd seen Mary, and Mary had talked to Susan, and she'd overheard Art say to Barbara...
Betty, for Pete's sake.
Father, please. I'm sorry, Peggy. Would you repeat that? Trudy told Georgia that she'd seen Mary, and Mary had talked to Susan, and she had overheard Art say to Barbara that... He didn't. He didn't. He didn't.
Your needle's stuck.
He didn't. He didn't. He did?
Thank goodness.
He didn't.
Betty.
I'll call you back, Peggy. Guess what, Father?
Betty, this is no time for guessing games.
Trudy told Georgia that she'd seen Mary.
And Mary talked to Susan, and she'd overheard Art say to Barbara...
Father, how'd you know?
Oh, just intuition, I guess.
And I told Barbara that he thought I was a very cute girl.
He didn't.
And that I had very beautiful eyes.
He didn't.
Father.
Betty, all this can wait.
And Art also said that I had the most beautiful hair he'd ever seen. And look at it now.
Now, Princess.
And he was looking forward to meeting me at the party, and now I can't go.
Betty, come back here. Oh, well. I'll take a chance and go up to the attic myself.
Oh, Jim.
Oh, hi, Aunt Thelma.
I was just thinking, you know, my trunk is stored up in your attic. And while I'm here, there's several things I want to get out of it.
Yeah. Can I get them for you?
No, I'll want to look through the whole trunk.
I know. I'll bring the trunk down.
Oh, Jim, don't be ridiculous.
Will it be no trouble at all?
No, you just come up to the attic with me, and I'll get along very nicely.
All right. Let's go.
My, look at all the things you have stored up here.
Yes, look at them.
Chairs, golf clubs, desks.
Your trunk is over there in the corner, Aunt Thelma.
End table, rug, bookcase. You know, Jim, I have a little confession to make to you.
Confession?
The way you've been fidgeting and squirming, I really expected to find my lamp up here.
You expected to. I mean, you expected to?
Yes. But now I can see that the joke was on me. It's not here.
It isn't?
You know, sometimes little things build up into big troubles, and plans to solve them that sound swell just complicate affairs. But to you mothers listening in, here's a simple breakfast plan that's always swell. For years, many mothers have given their family bran for breakfast because they know that it contains important keep regular benefits. Some women served it even when the folks weren't too excited about the flavor. That's why I've got such good news now. You see, something pretty wonderful has happened to bran. Today, new Post 40% bran flakes have a delicious new flavor called Magic Oven Flavor. More and more people tell us that because of this better taste and new crisper texture, they like it better than any other cereal. Now, Mother, that means when you serve Post 40% bran flakes, your family will get their ounce of prevention, their important keep regular benefits, in a cereal they'll really like every day you serve it. So, when you think it over, don't you want to start serving Post bran flakes in your home? Remember, Mother, the very next time you go shopping, be sure to get new Post 40% bran flakes. Now, some years later, there's another fellow named Jim Anderson who owns a lamp. It was given to him and his wife by his Aunt Thelma. Unlike Aladdin, Jim has realized very little good from this lamp, and the only evidence of magic is that the lamp itself has disappeared. Let's catch up on the details. Like this.
Oh, Jim, there must be some mistake.
I'm telling you, Margaret.
Well, it's not just a matter of snapping out of it.
Betty, if you're so worried about your hair, why don't you go down to the beauty shop and see what they can do with it?
Mother, the way I look, I'm not even leaving the house. I'll just have to work out my own problems.
Jim, the lamp.
Yeah, speaking of problems.
How about the basement?
No, the basement is pretty well cleaned out. Ever since we had that rummage sale over at the church, Rummage sale.
That's it.
It was probably in that carload of stuff we took over to the church.
That means that one of the church members has the lamp. Well, at least we're on the trail.
Some trail, 400 members.
I believe Mrs. Ashby was chairman of the rummage sale. Well, why don't I have Kathy go over to her house?
No, not Kathy, Margaret.
Why not?
We're having enough trouble as it is. Let's not get her mixed up in this. Send Bud over, and maybe Mrs. Ashby can give him some leads to follow up.
I wonder how long Aunt Thelma will be up in the attic.
I don't imagine too long, but in the meantime, I'll get on the phone and make a few calls.
I wonder who did get that lamp.
I don't know, but there must be an intelligent way to approach this thing. I know. The first person I'll call will be Mrs. Stevens.
Why, Mrs. Stevens?
By the looks of those hats she wears, she'd buy anything.
Jim, that was cruel. I'll go round up Bud.
What a day. Chasing some beaten-up old... Hello? Oh, hello, Ken. This is Jim Anderson. I was going to talk to your wife, but you'll do. Ken, a while back the church had a rummage sale, and I was wondering if by any chance you or your wife bought a lamp there. Oh, it had a sickly green shade, funny-looking gold tassels, an ugly stand, and... Well, I know you'd have been out of your mind to buy it, but... No, Ken, I'm not saying that you are. All right. Didn't realize he was so sensitive. I don't know why you can't ask a person a simple question without... Hello, Mrs. Benson? Mr. Anderson. Not long ago, the church had a rummage sale, and I was wondering if you happened to buy a lamp at the sale. What? Well, it has a beautiful green shade, handsome gold tassels, and exquisite stand...
Dear, any luck on the phone?
No, I called about a dozen people.
Where's Aunt Thelma?
She just came downstairs. That's why I came in here.
I just know she'll be heading for the playroom any minute.
I think I've got her sidetracked for a while. She found an old family album up in her trunk. I talked Betty into looking at it with her. They're in the den.
But after that, what?
Well, frankly, honey, I've just about had enough of this whole business. I'm in favor of coming out with the truth about the darn lamp.
Oh, dear, we can't do it now. We're in too deep.
Mother, I'm dying. Simply dying.
Betty, what are you doing here in the kitchen? I thought I told you to look at the album with Aunt Thelma.
I can't stand it. Aunts, uncles, cousins I've never even heard of.
Never mind. They're serving a purpose. We've got to keep Auntie out of the playroom. Stall for time.
Margaret, have you seen this picture of Aunt Grace's boy, Donald?
Oh, yes, I remember him.
He certainly looks like his mother. Well, I have a few minutes left before I have to catch my train, so I think I'd like to go downstairs
Say,
now.
I haven't seen that album.
Oh, you haven't? Well, this picture here was taken over at Uncle Clyde's home.
Mm-hmm.
That's Uncle Clyde there.
A nice-looking fellow. And who is that standing next to him?
That's Cousin Owen.
Oh. And next to him?
That's Uncle George.
Well, and next to him?
That's Aunt Doris.
I see. Now, where was this picture taken?
We're down in Cousin Clyde's playroom.
Oh.
Oh, which reminds me.
Yes?
Next Tuesday is Cousin Clyde's birthday.
Oh. Well, we'll have to send him a card. Make a note of that, Margaret.
I will, dear. Send birthday card to Cousin Clyde.
And over here is Aunt Lucy. Now, I'm sure you know her.
Daddy! Oh, Daddy!
Yes, kitten?
Bobby Hartley is in our driveway with a lamp on his wagon.
A lamp on his wagon?
Oh, yes. They're sure putting out some fancy wagons these days. Oh, imagine that. Headlamps.
No, Daddy, I mean...
Now, the other day I saw one with a tail light on it.
But, Daddy,
Yes, they're making some fine toys now. Come on, kitten. Let's take a look at Bobby's new wagon. Be right back, Aunt Thelma.
Daddy, I didn't mean...
I know what you mean, and for Pete's sake, don't mention the word lamp in front of Aunt Thelma.
Why, Daddy?
Never mind, just don't do it.
But Bobby brought a lamp over to us. You can see it. There, through the window.
Yes, I see it.
Aren't you glad? Bobby said that he heard you were looking for one.
I am, kitten, but not that kind. That's an old lantern.
What kind are you looking for?
Just don't worry about it. I'll come back in the den while we visit with Aunt Thelma.
That looks like quite a gathering in that picture.
Yes, that was over at Aunt Martha's. It was a costume party.
A costume party. Say, that's it. Excuse me.
What's wrong with her?
This solves everything, Father, but everything. Janie? Betty. Janie, I just had an idea that's super George. Listen, could you make your party tonight a costume party? Oh, I know it's kind of late, but I'll help you call up the kids. You see, that way I can wear some sort of a costume, like a gypsy, and I could wear a bandana over my head and cover up my hair. Or I could be a Turk and wear a turban.
Or you could put a bucket over your head and go as a paleface.
Very funny, Father. Would you, Janie? Oh, that's wonderful. Bye. Mother, now I can go to the party and meet Art after all.
Well, I'm glad, dear.
I had a hunch you'd come up with something.
Thanks to you, Aunt Thelma, and the album.
I'm glad it worked out. And now, if you'll pardon me, I must get my things and be on my way.
Oh, do you really have to leave now?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know. I'll go to the costume party as Pocahontas. That way I can wear an Indian headdress. Kathy, where's that Indian headdress you used to have? Down in the playroom?
Oh, that's right, the playroom. I must take time to see that before I go.
Oh, no.
Come on. I'll show you the way.
You go ahead, Kathy, and I'll follow you.
What are we going to do, Jim?
We're trapped. We just have to confess the whole thing.
See, Aunt Thelma?
Oh, my, this is a pleasant room.
Yes, we certainly like it.
And doesn't my lamp look nice in there?
Your lamp?
Yes, over there on the end table.
Huh?
Jim, there it is.
Goes so well with the curtain.
And the green ping pong table.
Well, I wish I could spend more time down here. But I must be getting ready. You coming up, Jim?
I'll be up in a minute.
What's the matter, Daddy?
Nothing. I'm just trying to figure out this lamp business.
What about it?
How did that get down here in the playroom?
I put it here.
You put it here? And where'd you find it?
I had it out in my playhouse. When I built my playhouse, you told me I could furnish it with anything we had stored in the attic. So yesterday I brought the lamp down.
But how did it get in here?
When it started to rain last night, I put it in the playroom.
Well, why in heaven's name didn't you say something about it?
Nobody asked me. What's the matter, Daddy? Am I bad?
No, kitten, no. You're good. Very good.
That. Thank goodness things worked out all right for the Andersons. And now, before the final surprise of the show, here's a word from our star, Robert Young.
You know, friends, quite often on our shows, some one of us will be enjoying a cup of Postum. Tonight, for instance, it was myself and Aunt Thelma. Well, that isn't all play acting. We think mighty highly of Postum around here. Not just because Postum's hearty flavor kind of grows on you, but, well, as Ed Prentice says, Postum contains no caffeine, none at all. So if you're like some folks who can't take the caffeine in coffee or tea, Postum is a right smart drink for you, too, isn't it? No caffeine, no coffee nerves. And believe me, you sleep. So how about getting acquainted with Postum real soon? That's Instant Postum, the good-tasting drink that's caffeine-free.
It's late evening now at the White Frame House on Maple Street. Aunt Thelma has been taken to the train and is on her way home. Bud and Kathy are in bed, while Jim and Margaret are down in the living room catching up on some much-needed relaxation. Like this.
Oh, I can't stand to have the thing around. I'm sure nobody would buy it. We couldn't even give it away. Well, our little Indian princess returneth home.
How was the party, dear?
Oh, dreamy, Mother. Simply dreamy.
I gather that this means that Arthur, the new Romeo, was there.
He was. And never in all my life have I met a man so romantic.
A real dreamboat?
Oh, but utterly. Before we parted, he held my hand and asked me if I would give him some little thing. Something to remember me by.
Princess. Margaret, there's the answer.
What?
Give him the lamp.
Back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson. Until then, good night and good luck from the makers of Post 40% Bran Flakes, America's largest selling Bran Flakes, and Instant Postum, the drink that's entirely caffeine-free. In our cast were Ted Donaldson as Bud, Dorothy Lovett, Rhoda Williams, Helen Strom, and Vi Berwick.
Mom, I think you're beautiful.
Well, thank you, Johnny.
You're the most beautiful woman in the whole world.
Thank you, Johnny.
Mom, Yes, Johnny. Can I have wheatmeal for breakfast tomorrow?
Sure. Make 'em happy, Mom, with the best hot cereal anywhere. Post Wheatmeal is packed full of solid nourishment, great for kids, and so wonderfully delicious. Post Wheatmeal cooks in just 3 minutes. Try rich, hot Post Wheatmeal with a picture of Roy Rogers on the package. Post Wheatmeal, the best hot cereal you ever ate.
Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Paul West and Dick Conway. This is Bill Foreman speaking.
In some parts of our nation, clearing weather has opened highways which have been covered with snow, ice, and slush. And with this clearing of roads, the reaction of some motorists is to drive faster. Curb your reaction to push down on the accelerator. Take your tip from the man who drives for a living, America's professional truck driver. He's taught to drive safely and expertly, and he knows that excessive speed is the #1 killer on the highway. So remember to keep your speed down to safe limits. The life you save may be your own. Tonight, play Truth or Consequences on NBC.
Stay tuned to HOJO Radio.
Mother, why did Daddy switch to Postum?
Your father says there's no caffeine in Postum, nothing to spoil your sleep. And your father knows best.
Robert Young, his father. A half-hour visit with your neighbors, the Andersons. Brought to you by Instant Postum, the good-tasting drink that's entirely caffeine-free, and by Post 40% Bran Flakes, America's largest-selling bran flakes. Progress. How the ingenuity of man has brightened and broadened this world we live in. Not so long ago, a man who wanted to go someplace in a hurry invented the automobile. Then another fellow came along who wanted to go someplace still faster, and he invented the airplane. And then came the fellow who wanted somebody to stay with the children while he was gone, and he invented the babysitter. What does all this have to do with the Andersons of 607 Maple Street? Well, we'll see. It's along about 5 o'clock at the White Frame House, and here comes Jim Anderson home from work. Like this.
Margaret, I'm home.
Hello, dear.
Well, how's everything, honey? Any excitement today?
Oh, all kinds of things have been happening. You have no idea how exciting it's been in the house.
Really?
Oh, yes. Yes, I found Bud's necktie in the vacuum cleaner. The hinge came loose on the shower door. Oh, and a letter you mailed 2 months ago came back because of insufficient postage.
Postman got in from Chicago.
What's that red spot on your wrist?
Oh, that? I was bitten.
Dog?
No, child. I met Bob Kirby in front of the bank. He had little George with him. Believe me, Margaret, that youngster should be in a cage.
I've heard he was an active child.
Active? While Bob and I were talking, he tried to take my wristwatch off. With his teeth. If I had a child like that, I'd put him in a school or something.
Oh, speaking of school, there was some excitement today.
What happened? Did Bud get a passing grade in arithmetic?
No. This is something that'll make you very happy. You know how long you've been wanting to get on the school board.
Yeah?
Well, Mr. Otis called this afternoon and said for us to be sure to attend the annual school board meeting tonight.
Oh, is that tonight?
Mm-hmm, it's tonight. And they're electing 3 new members. He wants to nominate you.
Well, how do you like that?
Mm-hmm, he's sure you'll be elected.
Being nominated for the school board.
Hi, Daddy.
Hello, kitten.
Did you hear about it, Daddy? You're going to be one of the boards in the school.
Yes, I heard about it. Do you think they'd want a rough old board like me in your school?
Sure.
Oh, hi, Dad. You home?
Well, there's somebody here in my clothes. I think it's me.
Can I have something to eat?
No, it's too close to dinner time, Angel.
Are you going to take that job on the school board, Dad?
Well, if I'm nominated and then I'm elected, I will. That's quite an honor, you know.
What's a school board?
It's a bunch of guys that are bored with school.
All right, Bud.
Is it, Daddy?
No, kitten. They're a group of people who help the people of town run the schools. It's a very important job.
If that's Ralph, I don't want to talk to him.
Hello? Yes, she's here, but...
Is that Ralph?
Yes?
Let me talk to him. Hello. Well, I'm just crushed with sorrow, but I already have another date tonight.
Come on, Bud, let's move into the den.
Holy cow.
Oh, yes. Don't think you can call me up
Gee,
tonight at a
Dad,
dance and
if
ask
you
for
get
a
on the
date.
school board, you'll be a big wheel.
Oh, it's not that, son. It's just that it's an honor and a fine opportunity to serve the community. I've always wanted to take a more active part in these things.
I guess everybody in town must be going to the meeting. Everybody's looking for babysitters tonight.
Oh?
Yeah, Mrs. Walker even asked me if I wanted to sit with their baby tonight. They must be desperate.
You turned it down?
Yeah, babies. Joe Phillips said Mrs. Roberts asked him. He said no.
Guess all the girls are going to that dance tonight.
Oh, how I hate men.
Well, all but one.
Father, what would you think of a boy who'd call up 2 hours before a dance and ask for a date?
I'd say he was a thorough cad.
You're so right. I've decided I'm going to devote my life to higher things, Father. I'm going to dedicate myself to humanity.
Fine idea. I know where you can start. Tonight.
Where?
Right here in the neighborhood. A lot of people want to go to the school board meeting tonight, and they can't find babysitters.
It's the meeting where Dad's going to be nominated.
Yeah, I know. Gee, and I'd be helping you, too, wouldn't I, Father?
Well, that's not the point, Princess. You'd be rendering a valuable service to the community. And make a little money besides.
That's a sensational idea, Father. And maybe I could help a lot of people. See, there's Janie Liggett. She doesn't have a date tonight. And Cheryl Clark said she wasn't going to the dance. And I know there's a bunch of others. I could find babysitters for everybody.
Great. Good thinking.
Oh, it was your idea. Hand me the extension. Who'll I call first?
Mrs. Walker, they don't have anybody.
Let's see. Their number is 691. Gee, I'm beginning to feel like a crusader already.
Yeah? Wait till those babies start hollering.
Hello? Ms. Walker? This is Betty Anderson. Are you still looking for someone to stay with little Judy tonight? Well, what time do you want to leave? Okay, I'll have someone over there. You're welcome. Goodbye. How was that, Father?
Oh, you're rolling, Princess. You're going to be the pride of Springfield.
I wonder who else.
Mrs. Roberts, she was talking to Joe.
Mrs. Roberts, what's their number?
I think it's 557.
Dinner's on. Wash your hands, Bud. I'm getting babysitters for tonight, Mother, for people who want to go to the school board meeting. Oh, well, that's fine. Hello. Mrs. Roberts? This is Betty Anderson. Fine, thank you. Miss Roberts, I heard you were looking for someone to stay with Lynn tonight. Well, I think I can help you out. All right. I'll have somebody there at 7:15. Oh, sure. Do you know of somebody else? Mrs. Kirby? All right. Will you tell her I'll have somebody there to stay with George? Yes, 7:15. And you're very welcome. Goodbye. You see, there's 3 already, Mother. Well, I'm very proud of you, dear.
Just be careful who you send over to the Kirbys to take care of little George. Don't send any of your good friends.
Why not?
I fear that many babysitters have made that trip, and some have not returned.
Oh, Jim. George is just a normal, active 6-year-old.
Take my advice, Princess. Whoever draws that assignment should be equipped with a padded suit, a baseball bat, and the phone number of the police department.
Oh, you're exaggerating, dear. Come on, everything's on the table.
Let's go, Bud.
Yeah, I'm starved.
I'll be there in a minute, Mother. I want to see if I can line up some more people.
Before you make any more deals, Princess, I suggest you call your babysitters.
All right, I'll do that. But have you washed your hands?
Sure, I washed them.
Yesterday?
No, it was today. Go wash. Holy cow.
Scalloped potatoes. Margaret, do you think this tie is a little too loud to wear to the meeting?
No, I don't think it will disturb anybody. Why?
I don't know. It just seemed like it might be a little flashy if I'm going to be nominated to the school board.
You're really looking forward to this, aren't you?
Well, it's quite an honor, after all. Not everybody is asked to serve on the school board.
Kathy, come to the table.
I'm coming.
Bud.
I'm here. Potatoes, please.
Would you like me to serve them to you in the air or wait till you land?
Mommy, are you going to the meeting tonight with Daddy?
I wouldn't miss it for anything.
Well, it's all arranged, practically. Cheryl's line was busy, but I talked to Janie, and it's solid with her, and she's going to call Cheryl.
Which one is going to stay with little George?
I think I'll let Cheryl go over to the Kirbys. She's the biggest.
Well, it was nice to have known Cheryl.
Oh, Father, you make him sound like a little monster.
I didn't say anything. Fact is, I'm very proud of you, Princess, for rounding up your friends. Nothing should be allowed to keep people away from these meetings.
Well, the babysitting idea was all yours, Father. You deserve all the credit.
Daddy's going to be a school board.
He isn't going to be a board, lame brain. He's going to be on the board.
Oh, that's probably Cheryl.
Take it in the breakfast room, dear.
Hello? Oh, hi, Cheryl. Did Janie call you? You can't.
Uh-oh.
I thought you weren't going to the dance. Gee, can you think of anybody else? Oh, fine. Have a simply splendid time. Goodbye. Oh, this is just dandy. Cheryl has a date. Now, I'll have to go to the Kirbys, and Janie will go to the Walkers. But who'll go to the Roberts?
What about the Kirbys?
Yeah, who gets in the ring with Gorgeous George?
For goodness sake, where's Bud?
I'm coming.
Who was at the door?
That was Mrs. Kirby.
Oh?
Oh, happy day. Did she stop to say they didn't need a babysitter?
No, they brought George over.
George?
Yeah. Here he is.
Hi.
Oh. Hello, George.
Hi.
Have you had your dinner, Georgie?
Yep. Hi, George. Hi.
His folks are going out to dinner before the meeting. They wanted to know if it was okay to leave him here.
Kathy, why don't you go in the living room with George?
Alone?
Well, Bud'll go with you, won't you, Bud?
Oh, gee, Dad, I'm too young to die.
Come on, George.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Oh, this is just peachy. I have to go to the Walkers. Mother has to go to the Roberts. Who's going to stay here and take care of George?
We can't leave him here with Bud and Kathy.
We can't take him with us.
Well, call Mr. Otis. Tell him I can't get to the meeting.
Oh, Father, no.
I don't know what else we can do, dear.
Fill up my plate, Margaret. We've always wondered if this house would stand up in a tornado. Well, we'll find out tonight.
Well, now, before the storm at the Andersons really breaks, let's take this moment of calm for a word from our friend Ed Prentice. Ed has some mighty good advice for you, especially if you haven't been as calm lately as you'd like to be. Ed?
Say, friend, how have you been feeling these days? Have you been sort of jittery, on edge? Well, it could be the caffeine in your coffee or tea that's been bothering you, stealing your sleep and making you nervous. I know, because caffeine bothered me plenty, until I switched to Postum. Good old instant Postum. Why don't you make the switch yourself? Believe you me, Postum really works. It ought to. It's absolutely caffeine-free. Contains no caffeine. None whatsoever. So you see, instant Postum is a good hot drink you can enjoy anytime without risking coffee nerves, without losing your sleep. Now, of course, caffeine doesn't bother everybody. Lots of folks can handle it okay. But if it troubles you, just make that simple, easy switch to Postum. Try Postum for 30 days. Why not? See if you're not sleeping better, looking and feeling better, too. Thanks to Instant Postum. Oh, and say, the kids will like Postum, too. And, of course, you can give them Postum.
Now finds himself saddled for the evening with the job of babysitter for Bud, Kathy, and one 6-year-old George Kirby, reputed to possess the destructive power of a Sherman tank and the disposition of a wounded tiger. How does Jim feel about this turn of fortune? Not good.
Well, Margaret, Betty promised she'd have somebody to take care of George. She can't go back on her word.
I know, dear, but you should go to that meeting.
It's just that all the girls are going to that ridiculous dance tonight. I tried to think of somebody I could get, Father. There just isn't a soul.
Well, it's only that I've waited so long to get on the school board.
Do you have to be there to be nominated?
Oh, Margaret, do you think they'd consider anyone for a position on the board if he couldn't even get to the meeting?
I suppose not. Wait. I think I know how we can do it, dear. The Walkers live just a couple of doors from Clyde and Edna Roberts. I'll take the Roberts baby over to the Walkers where Betty's going to be. She can take care of both of them,
And I'll get back here in time for you to go to the meeting.
Not bad.
Daddy?
What, kitten?
I'm worried about George.
What's wrong, Angel?
He isn't doing anything.
Well, where's Bud?
He's in there watching him.
Well, we have to go, Betty. I'll get back as soon as I can, dear.
What are you going to do, Mother?
Well, I'll explain on the way over. Goodbye, dear.
Goodbye, honey.
What are we going to do with George?
We'll see, kitten. Oh, Bud, come in the den a minute, will you?
What you want, Dad?
I want to talk to you and Kathy. Do you think you can end it?
None of the kids will play with him at school.
His own father won't play with him.
Doesn't he have any brothers or sisters?
No, there's just him.
All right, you kids go out and clean up the dishes. I'll go in and sit with George.
Poor Daddy.
If you need help, Dad, just holler.
I think I can manage. Well, hello there, Georgie.
Hi.
Hey, those look like new shoes.
Yep.
Bet you just got those this morning.
Yep.
Well, you're a pretty fine little boy.
I'm a stinker.
What? You? Oh, no, I don't think so.
Everybody says I am.
Well, I don't believe it. You know how I can tell you're a regular fella?
How?
Because you have pennies behind your ears.
Do I?
Sure you do. Look here, I'll bet I can find a penny behind this ear right here.
It tickles.
Well, what do you know? Here it is. Just growing right on your head there.
Did you find that back there?
Sure. I knew you were a fine fella. Hey, and look here. Penny on the other side, too.
How do you do that?
Why, they were just sticking right on your head there.
Let me look behind your ears. No, you don't have any.
Well, I guess I don't know how to grow them. You'll have to show me the trick.
I don't know how I do it.
You like to ride on trains, George?
Sure.
All right, let's you and I take a train ride.
How?
Well, I'll show you. You sit up here on my lap like this. Now, we've got a little train that's just big enough for you and me. And we're sitting up in the cab of the engine. Can you see all right down the tracks there?
Yeah.
Well, we've got a big, long string of cars behind us, and we're going to take our train on a long trip. Now, where'll we go?
Let's go out west.
All right. We're going out where the cowboys are. Now, take a good look down the track. Be sure there's no cows or anything out there.
No, I don't see any.
Okay, you're the engineer. Now, let's give her some steam.
Okay.
Oh, boy, we've got a heavy load on this train. Think we can pull it?
I'll give her some more steam.
Hey, now we're going.
Hey, Dad.
What? Huh?
How's it going?
We got a train, Bud.
A train?
Where's the train? Right here. We're the engine. Want to get on? I do. Come on, Bud.
Who, me?
I'm on.
Get on, Bud. We're behind schedule.
Well, okay, but...
All aboard?
All aboard.
Ready, Mr. Anderson?
Sure. Turn on the steam.
Blow the whistle. I hope it stays on the track.
Oh, this is a solid train. She'll get us there. Hold on. We're going around a curve.
Look at her go.
You're a good engineer, George.
I'll get you there.
Hey, Dad. What goes with George?
What?
Has he slugged you yet?
I got pennies behind my ears. You got what?
Say, we're out on the prairies. It's getting dark. We better stop the train and camp for the night.
Okay, I'll put on the brake.
All right, we're stopped. Boy, our little train's tired from that long run. Let's give it a rest and we'll make camp. Now stake out the horses, Bud.
We got horses?
Sure, they were on the train.
Kathy, you go out and forage for food, and George and I'll put up the camp.
I'll get some cookies and milk out of the kitchen. That'll be our chow.
Yeah, let's eat.
Is this our camp here?
Yeah, right down here between the two chairs. That's good and protected. If there are any unfriendly Indians, they won't see our campfire.
If my daddy comes, we'll hide.
Oh, no, he's a friendly Indian.
We're a long way from home, aren't we?
Yeah, we're way out in the Wild West. big mountains out there against the sky. Cowboys watching the cattle.
This is sure fun.
Yeah, this is the life.
Mr. Anderson, do you like me?
Why, sure I do, George.
Nobody else does.
Well, I'll tell you, everybody wants to like you.
They won't play with me.
Well, maybe they think you don't want to play with them.
But I do.
Well, George, it's just like it used to be back in the days when the first white men traveled out into the Indian country. Some of the white men had heard that the Indians were very bad, so they went right out and started shooting at the Indians. Well, the Indians said, "White man bad," and they started shooting too. They had a lot of trouble.
Weren't the Indians bad?
Well, not all of them. Now, some white men were wiser than the others. They didn't start right out shooting. They made friends with the Indians, didn't try to hurt them. And the Indians trusted these white men and liked them, and they showed them where to find food and water.
Really?
Sure. And it's the same thing with you and the other children. If you show them you want to be their friend, like those first white men did with the Indians, then they'll be friends to you, and everybody will like you.
You think so?
Why, sure. You try it tomorrow and see.
Okay.
You know, partner, the cattle are all bedded down, the moon's dipping pretty low over the mountain yonder. It's about time we got a little shut-eye.
I'm not sleepy.
Well, we'll just sit up here in the chair. This'll be a big cave in the hillside. Now, you put your head on my shoulder and keep a sharp eye on those cattle out there. Don't close your eyes.
I won't. Sleep, Daddy?
Just about.
Can I get up on your lap, too?
All right. Now, be very quiet, kid.
Daddy, George looks different. He doesn't look mean at all.
He isn't. He's a good little fellow.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
I'll get it, Dad.
All right. You two cowboys settle down. Now, the cattle are quiet. I don't think we'll have any rustlers tonight. Moon is riding high. Big old stars up there.
Hey, Dad, it's Mom on the phone. She's got to come home so that you can go to that meeting.
Well, tell her not to bother, Bud. We have a pretty important meeting right here.
Always reminds me that life is swell when you keep well. Another thing it reminds me of is new Post 40% Bran Flakes, because they really are good, and so good for you. You see, something wonderful has happened to Bran. That's why new Post Bran Flakes now taste so delicious. Yes, Post Bran Flakes have a magic oven flavor and crisper texture that's fast making it the favorite cereal of folks everywhere. And important, too, it always gives you those vital, keep regular benefits that Bran is famous for. That's why, Mother, I suggest that you buy new Post 40% Bran Flakes when you shop this weekend. They're America's largest selling Bran Flakes.
Well, it's a day or two later in the white frame house on Maple Street, and life has resumed its normal pattern. Well, normal for the Andersons. Betty is on the phone talking to Ralph. Bud and Kathy are taking their turn at the dishes, and Jim and Margaret find themselves in possession of that rare prize, a moment to talk to each other. Like this.
I've been wondering, dear, how you felt about not being nominated for the school board.
Oh, I'm managing to hide my broken heart.
I was awfully sorry.
Oh, I wasn't really, honey. They got a good man, and I don't know, I got a real kick out of that evening with little George.
By the way, several people have told me there's been a big change in George. Even his mother remarked about it. What'd you say to him the other night?
I don't remember. We just talked.
He plays with the other children now. He's happy at school. And the most amazing thing, Mrs. Kirby says, is that George and Mr. Kirby have suddenly become great friends. Actually play together.
Oh, that's fine.
There's just one thing she wanted me to be sure.
Largest selling Bran Flakes and Instant Postum, the drink that's entirely caffeine-free. In our cast were Helen Strome as Kathy, Dorothy Lovett, Rhoda Williams, Ted Donaldson, and Ronald Keith.
It's the best hot cereal you ever ate.
Post Wheatmeal, the best hot cereal anybody ever ate. Minutes to cook. Get the big family economy size with a picture of Roy Rogers on the package. Post Wheatmeal,
the best hot cereal you ever ate.
Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Paul West. This is Bill Foreman speaking.
Tonight, play Truth or Consequences on NBC.
Our next broadcast premiered in 1935. The program struggled in the ratings until 1940 when it became a national sensation. Within 3 years, it was the top-rated program in America. Few radio shows were more beloved, and few play as well half a century later. It was the brainchild of real-life married couple Jim and Marion Jordan and was broadcast to the nation from WMAQ Chicago. The show entertained America until March of 1956 and continued on NBC's monitor until 1959. We invite you to join us at 79 Wistful Vista with Fibber McGee and Molly right here on HOJO Radio.
When you buy linoleum, its colors are bright and fresh. Wouldn't it be nice if you could always keep them that way? Well, you can very easily, simply by buying a can of Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. Glow Coat will not only keep the colors bright and new-looking, but it will also make the linoleum last years longer than floor covering that is continually scrubbed with soap and water. Too much scrubbing softens and cracks the surface. Glow Coat protects the surface. And besides this protection, Glow Coat is a wonderful labor saver. In the first place, it requires no rubbing or buffing. It's self-polishing. Just apply and let dry, and in 20 minutes you have a sparkling, beautiful floor. In the second place, it's easy to keep a glow-coated floor spotless. Spots and stains wipe up quickly with a damp cloth. You can use Glow Coat on your other floors, too, painted and varnished wood, rubber, and asphalt tile. You'll find it everywhere, that attractive red and yellow can of Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. What is so rare as a day in spring in Wistful Vista, with Mrs. McGee sitting reading on the porch, her husband picking weeds out of the lawn, and his on and off pal Gildersleeve fixing window screens next door. We can't think of anything. But that's how it is today with Fibber McGee and Molly.
Hey, Molly, I got a notion to go fishing. I just found a worm.
Well, keep scratching around, dear. Maybe you'll find a horseshoe and we can go horseback riding.
Hey, how many dandelion greens you got to make dandelion wine?
The way you're working, McGee, you won't have enough by September to get a cucaracha cockeyed.
You pipe down, Gildersleeve. I was talking to my wife.
Well, I thought I'd take over your conversation for a while. You must get pretty tired of it.
Say, aren't you men going to play tennis this afternoon? Or is it too strenuous for you athletes?
Oh, Gildersleeve says he had to fix the window screens. I don't know why. I've seen all his clothes, and if I was a moth, I wouldn't want them.
You tell her the real reason, McGee. You got smart and started bouncing the ball that landed on the roof.
Well, get it down again. Heavenly days, I'll even buy you a new one.
Huh? You will?
Yes, I will. Anything to keep you two quiet. I'm trying to read this article about us in Liberty Magazine.
Oh, you mean in the May 27th issue? Well, I can take a hint even if Gildersleeve can't. Hey, Gildy, come down off of that ladder a minute. I want to get my tennis ball off the roof.
Who are you giving orders to, you little cigar holder? Get a ladder of your own.
Well, of all the nerve. Get a ladder of your own, he says. That's my ladder you're on, and you know it, Gildersleeve. You borrowed it 3 weeks ago.
You mean I managed to get it back 3 weeks ago?
Why, you big salami. You know very well you just took it to fix that smoking chimney last April.
Yes, and you borrowed it in January to get your alarm clock out of the elm trees.
My heavens, what was our clock doing in the tree? I threw it at a cat one night. Now look, Gildersleeve, I was the original owner of that ladder, as you very darn well know. And I've been pretty good-natured about you using it. Now get off, I want it back.
You got as much chance of getting it back as I have of bailing out over Scotland. And get away from this ladder. You make me nervous.
McGee, don't shake that ladder. You'll make him fall. Oh, so what? Might jar a little sense into him. You going to get down off of that ladder, Gildersleeve, or do I have to shake you off like a rotten apple?
I won't get down. By George, this is my ladder, and I have a right. Stop it! Stop it! Mrs. McGee, make him stop teasing me.
Oh, quit running to Mama, you big squealer. And I'll give you till I count 10 to get off of that ladder.
Go on, you can't count up to 10. You stop shaking that ladder. Stop it.
McGee, be careful. He might fall on you and hurt you. I can dodge him. That big blimp is so slow he can't even fall fast. Well, you coming down, Gildersleeve?
No, I'm not. And when I lay hands on you, you miserable little monkey...
Okay, you asked for it.
What? Stop it! Stop it! Go!
Uh-oh, I pushed a little too hard. Heavenly days. Is he hurt, McGee? Of course he ain't hurt. He bounced 8 feet. The big bladder. Well, I'm ashamed of you, both. Now, you come right in the house before you have any more trouble. Oh, Molly, I don't want to go in the house.
Wait till I get hold of you.
What you want me to go in the house for, Molly? You want to talk something over? Okay, let's go.
Oh, wait a minute, McGee. I've got something I want to talk to you.
What you want to talk about, Molly? McGee, I'm ashamed of you. Fighting and arguing in front of all the neighbors. Oh, they love it. But you had no right to push that ladder over with Mr. Gildersleeve on it. Why, shucks, it's no fun pushing over an empty ladder. Besides, I didn't mean to push it so hard. But you were wrong in the first place. It is his ladder. Why, Molly? How can you stand there with your neck sticking through that string of seashells I bought you one Christmas long before we were married and say such a thing like that? It is true, my ladder. Oh, no, it isn't. Dad ratted, it is true. I distinctly remember tearing the wrappings off of it the day it come from the hardware store. Don't you remember that? Yes, I do. Aha. Because you borrowed it from Mr. Gildersleeve before it was even off the trucks. What? I did? Oh, sure. And furthermore, even though you've always claimed Mr. Gildersleeve was a pushover, you didn't have to prove it.
Well, gee whiz, I didn't mean to push it so hard.
Nevertheless, I want you to march right outside and offer your apology.
Oh, okay. Come on. Hey, Gildersleeve, I want to talk to you a minute.
Oh, that's fine, little chum. That's fine. I want to talk to you, too.
That's swell. About that little ladder episode, Crocky, I had...
Look out, McGee. He's got a baseball bat behind his back.
Come on back here, you little assassin, and I'll ram a little of the whimsy out of your skippy little skull.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Gildersleeve. All McGee wanted was to tell you to...
Tell him, Molly. It's all off. If you want me so bad, Gildersleeve, come on up here and get me.
All right, by George, I will.
One step further, and I sue you for trespass.
You come on down here on city property and see what happens. You feeble little fugitive from a lit gun.
Why, you overinflated blimp. If I ever came down there, I'd slap you so flat you could go to the hospital by mail.
Look, McGee, you'll never get together with him this way.
Well, what'll I do?
Go inside and call him up.
You think you'll let me talk?
Well, it's worth trying. Come on in.
Okay.
Oh, running away.
Oh, go smoke some corn silk, you adolescent apple knocker. Come on.
By George, if he ever came within reach of me,
Give me the telephone.
Here, I'll watch out the window and see if his wife calls him in.
Okay. Hello, operator. Give me the residence of Throckmorton P. Huh? Oh, is that you, Mert?
Dear, oh dear.
How's every little thing, Mert? It is, eh? What day, Mert? Your baby sister. Oh, got 2 new teeth this morning, huh?
Ah, how sweet. How old is the little tyke, dearie?
19. Had some teeth kicked out Saturday night in a jitterbug contest. What's that, Mert? Oh, okay. Thanks, Mert. No answer, Mom.
Well, you've simply got to apologize. Send him a telegram.
Say, now you're using glow coat. That's a great idea. I'll fix it to... Oh, no, that ain't a good idea either.
Well, why isn't it?
Well, he'd just fly into another rage when he saw the telegram was collect. If there was only some way I could make him listen to me without knowing what... Hot dog. I got it.
You have?
Yeah. Now get this, folks. It's the crux of the whole program.
Oh, what is it?
Look. Let's say I go down to the Wistful Vista recording studios and make a phonograph record of a handsome apology and send it to Gildersleeve. He'd play it out of curiosity, and it'd be over before he knew what it was all about.
Say, that's a wonderful idea. Get your hat and we'll...
Oh, is that Gildersleeve?
Let me peep. No, it isn't. It's Mrs. Uppington.
Oh, swell. Oh, watch me insult her, too, so I can make an extra record.
Now, McGee, please don't do that. We've got trouble enough.
Oh, it's all in fun, Molly. Come in.
Don't do it, McGee. She's too dumb to realize what... Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Uppington?
How do you do, Mr. McGee? And Mr. McGee. My goodness, what is wrong with Mr. Gildersleeve? I just met him outside.
Well, he's angry with my husband, Abigail. McGee knocked him off a ladder.
Good heavens. What on earth caused you to do that, Mr. McGee?
Oh, just the impulse, Uppy. I get them now and then. For instance, I never see you riding along in that limousine of yours, sitting there simpering like a dummy in a showcase without wanting to heave a rock right through the window.
Queer. McGee, I told you...
Really, Miss McGee, I find your sense of humor in very bad taste, if I may say so.
You may say so, Abigail.
Thank you, my dear. Mr. McGee, your sense of humor is in very bad taste.
Ah, don't be a guppy, Uppy. You couldn't take a joke if it was tattooed.
McGee! You stop it this minute. He's just trying to insult you, Abigail. Don't pay any attention to him.
But I don't understand, Mrs. McGee. Why should he wish to insult me?
Well, he wants to make another record.
What, another one?
What do you mean, another one?
Why, you already hold the record for being the most boorish, insignificant, maladjusted little malamute in the neighborhood, if I may say so.
You may.
I do.
You did.
I know. Goodbye.
Well, you asked for it, dearie.
Yes, I know. Now, the old moose toss is a pretty sassy adjective, don't you? Hey, is Gildersleeve still out in front any place?
Let me take a look. No, I don't see... Wait a minute.
Huh?
What's that sticking out from behind that tree? Let me see. That's Gildersleeve's stomach. He thinks he's hiding. Like trying to hide a horse in a handbag. Well, let him wait. Come on, we'll sneak out the back way and go out the back door and hurry down the...
Welcome to the Wistful Vista Recording Studios, my friends. Is this your first visit?
Yes, it is, Mr.
Tate. Asa M. Tate. And if I do say so myself, an Asa Tate record is the best record made.
Well, look, Bud, my name is Fibber McGee.
Not the Fibber McGee.
What do you mean, the Fibber McGee?
The Fibber McGee who came in just now to make a recording.
Yes, that's me, Toot.
Tate.
Tate?
Yes. As in Tate Funny McGee.
Oh.
Now, what can we do for you?
Well, you see, Mr. Tate, McGee insulted a man next door, and we want to send him a recording of an apology.
I see. A splendid idea. We can handle that just as soon as we have a free studio.
Oh, are you pretty busy here?
Oh, thriving, Mrs. McGee, thriving. This idea has taken hold like a lady wrestler on a masher. Everyone is recording. Valentines, love messages, speeches, legal documents.
What you mean, legal documents?
Oh, yes. The human voice is accepted in court just like a signature.
Is that so?
Yes. For instance, there's a gentleman in Studio C who is making a recording of his last will and testament. Step this way and we'll peep in for a moment.
Now, be very quiet.
And to the rest of my heirs and assigns, I bequeath the residue of my estate, including house and furniture and all things appertaining thereto, with the proviso that during their lives they shall protect all wood and enamel surfaces against dampness, dirt, and wear with Johnson's wax, the finest protective polish that...
Wilcox!
Oh, dear me. You broke right into the middle of the recording.
Oh, shucks, I'm sorry.
Hello there, folks.
Oh, why the record, Mr. Wilcox?
Well, it's logical, Molly. This is my will I'm recording.
Yeah, we know, but why?
Look, you put wax on your most important things, don't you?
Yes.
So why shouldn't you put your most important things on wax?
There's another familiarity, too, Howard.
What's that?
You ought to have it on a record because you've been going round and round on the same subject for 6 years.
I hope you'll excuse the interruption, Mr. Wilcox. I didn't know these were friends of yours. Well, I'm not so sure now.
Oh, now, Mr. Wilcox, you know very well that
And be it hereby expressly devised that in the course of protecting and beautifying said household appurtenances, Johnson's Wax is positively the most dependable, durable, labor-saving protection for wood, leather, and enamel surfaces...
Come on, Molly.
...that ever...
Isn't Mr. Wilcox very young to be making out his will, dearie? Oh, not necessarily. He knows he's going to kill himself one of these days trying to think up new ways to say the same old thing. Oh, here we throw him in there anyway. Bud, how soon can I make my recording?
Now, don't be impatient, Mr. McGee. We're very, very busy, you know. Let me think now.
Well, hello there, Johnny. Hello, Dirt. Oh, hello there, Mr. Oldtimer. What are you doing here?
Well, do you two know this gentleman, too?
Oh, sure. He's our oldest friend. Aren't you, Old-Timer?
If you can think of one that's older, bring him round, Johnny, and I'll wrestle him for 50 cents.
What did you say you were doing here?
Who, me? Oh, we just finished recording some hot jive, Dor. Me and my band.
Your band? You got a band?
Yep, small combo, Johnny. Hot and sweet. Call him the Old-Timer and he's sexagenarian. Ain't a one of us under 16, we make Goodman and them Dorsey kids sound like hand organs in a hailstorm.
Well, heavenly days, imagine that. Are you making anything out of it, or do you work like George Bernard Shaw for your room and beard?
That's pretty good, daughter. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I... Uh-oh. Say, you gotta excuse me, kids. Gotta run down the hall and get some refills.
Refills for what?
My comb. That's what I play in the band. Comb and tissue paper. Well, see you later, kids. I'll send you one of my records.
Well, this isn't getting us anyplace, Bud. I want to get busy. Haven't you got a studio we can use?
Of course. You can use Studio E just as soon as the King's Men get through recording their version of Open Your Heart and Say Ah. Right in here, please.
get you with love playing hard to get? And where's it going to get you with me? Where's it going to get you with anyone? You'll be sorry. You'll never get no place to shaking your head. Nowhere, no sir, so instead, here's a formula for shaking the lead. Open your heart and say, ah, you gotta be sweet if you want to be wise. Sugar, honey, catches flies. Here's a treatment that'll open your eyes. Open your heart and say, ah, if I pet you when the lights are low, what's it gonna get you if you answer no? What are you gonna use for memories? If you're not open-minded, what do you know? You're gonna get kisses, you're gonna get love, more than you share, baby, of. What you're hoping if you'll open your heart, open wide, so I can hear it say, ah. You'll only get cheese if you act like a rat. Won't get diamonds, not like that. If I'm the doctor when I call at your flat, open your heart and say, ah. If I take you strolling by the bay, I may have to make you see the light of day. Gotta get what I get from you gladly. So get your heart to beating, what do you say? You're gonna get kisses, you're gonna get love, more than you've been dreaming of. So now you better start to open your heart. Open wide, so I can hear it saying, ah, ah. Find the doctor, open up your heart and say, ah.
Booth is waving at you again.
Oh. How am I doing, Mr. Tate?
Very, very good, Mr. McGee. The first part was going very well, but for this next part, get into the microphone a little more.
Oh.
Yes, that's it. And it will help if you take the cigar out of your mouth. Thank you.
It's about time you ditched that stogie, McGee. I didn't know whether you were recording an apology or smoke gets in your eyes.
Well, you ready to cut the rest of it, Bud?
All ready, Mr. McGee. Start talking when the bell rings. Ready?
Ready. And that's why I want you to know, guilty old man, that I am sorry I pushed you off of the ladder. I hope we can be friends again from now on, and in honor of the occasion, here is a little poem I wrote. The world would be a better place to live in if guys like I would admit they're wrong and give in without their wife forcing them almost to do it. But I know if I hadn't did it, I would rue it. So here's to you, a friend true blue, from your little chum next door, dear Throcky. To have you as a pal, I consider myself pretty lucky. There. How was it, Molly?
Fine, dearie. All but that poem.
Well, maybe it could have been polished up a little bit, but it's the sentiment that counts.
Sediment.
I said sentiment.
I know, and I said sediment.
Oh.
That's what's left after the drip has stopped.
Well, I'm afraid you just don't appreciate the finer things.
Everything is splendid, Mr. McGee, splendid.
Oh, fine.
And I hope you can use our services again sometime.
Thank you, Mr. Tate.
You got the address where to send that record, didn't you, Bud?
Oh, yes, Mr. McGee. Mr. Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, 83, Wistful Vista.
Yes, and send this note with it.
It'll be on its way in half an hour. A good day.
Good day, Mr. Tate.
So long, Tate.
Well, frankly now, McGee, don't you feel better for having made that apology? Even if Mr. Gildersleeve hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, yes, I guess I do, but...
Hello, Mr. McGee. Hello, Mrs. McGee.
Oh, hi, Wimple.
My, you're looking happy and cheerful for a change, Mr. Wimple.
Oh, I am. I'm just a different person when I come down here to make my record. It cheers me up no end.
What kind of record you make, Wimple? You a singer?
Oh, no. I just talk.
Oh, recitations, huh?
In a way, yes. You see, I record the things I would like to say to my wife. I spend the first half hour working myself into a rage. And then I make a recording of giving her the most terrible bawling out. Then I sit here and play it to myself over and over and over.
This sure gets it out of your system, doesn't it, Wimple? Ever think what would happen if she ever got hold of one of those records?
Oh, yes, I have. I wake up nights in a cold sweat about it. But it's worth all the risk, Mr. McGee.
Look, Mr. Wimple, why don't you brace up and really send her one of the records? It would show her that you really have a little spirit.
Mrs. McGee, would not only show her that I have one, but 5 minutes after she heard it, I'd be one.
Now, come on, Molly. Let's hurry home and wait for Gildersleeve's reaction.
All right.
Hey, he ought to be coming over any minute now, Molly. I just seen a motorcycle messenger deliver a package.
Oh, that's fine, dearie. I'll be so glad when this is straightened out, all this senseless bickering and quarreling. Anybody'd think you hated each other.
We do, down underneath. But on the surface, there never was two finer friends. Why, when I think about...
Heavenly days, what on earth is that? Oh!
There you are, you little Weisenheimer.
What?
You practical joker, you custard pie comedian.
Huh?
Send me a smart aleck phonograph record and a sarcastic note, will you? By George.
Now, wait a minute. What's the matter? What do you mean a sarcastic note?
Well, listen to this.
Huh?
Dear Throcky, forget what happened this afternoon and play this record.
Yeah?
As a little token of my esteem.
Oh.
Then you'll know what I really think of you. Signed, your little chum Fibber.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with that. Didn't you play the record, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Yes, I did.
Well.
And I want to tell you right now, McGee, if you were worth spoiling a good 10-cent shine on, I'd knock you down and kick your ears off.
Oh, my.
As it is, I'll just break this record over your dilly little dough.
Mr.
Hey, what's the idea?
Oh.
And never speak to me again, you crumb-wit.
Well, I'll be... what's the matter with that guy? Ain't he got any sense of justice?
Oh, dear.
I put my whole heart and soul into that record.
Sure you did. Maybe it was that poem that got him. Though I don't quite... Oh, heavenly days, look. Look at the label.
Huh?
They sent him the wrong record.
What?
This is the one that the old-timer was sending to us.
Huh?
Well, no wonder Mr. Gildersleeve got mad.
What do you mean?
Look at the title. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal, you.
Fibber and Molly will be back in just a moment. Say, aren't these just about the busiest days you could imagine? There's so many things to do every hour of the day, it almost seems like the days are getting shorter instead of longer. Of course, that makes us all grateful for anything that saves us time and work. That is, unnecessary work. Which brings me, naturally, to Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, the modern floor polish that goes on saving hours of work every day for women everywhere. The main point about Glow Coat is that it not only saves work, it makes floors more beautiful, protects them against wear, keeps the colors of linoleum fresh and bright indefinitely. In fact, makes your whole kitchen a more cheerful place to work in. It's because Glow Coat has so many advantages at such small cost that its popularity just goes on increasing month after month. Glow Coat needs no rubbing or buffing, remember that. You just apply and let dry. In 20 minutes, you have a floor that sparkles with beauty. Need I say more? Order Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat tomorrow.
Well, it's really too bad the records got mixed up, dearie.
Yeah.
But you can have the man at the recording studio send Mr. Gildersleeve an explanation.
Yeah, I can straighten that out, okay. I'd even kind of like to go down and make some more records.
All right, let's. You have a dandy voice for it.
Honest? You think so?
I certainly do. You might even get a job as a news commentator.
Oh, boy.
Like Raymond Graham Jazz.
Swing.
Well, you could try that, too, but commentating is more dignified.
Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Finishes for the home and for industry. Inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
HOJO Radio, where the classics come alive.
Mickey and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with songs by the King's Band and music by Billy Mills Orchestra. The show opens with New Sun in the Sky. There's one thing car owners are learning now, many of them for the first time. You can't just put your car away and forget about it. Like any piece of good machinery, you've got to keep it up to keep its value up. That goes for the battery, for the tires, and it goes for the finish, too. Smashed bugs and road scum will damage the finish of your car if they're not removed. Even the dirt accumulation and temperature changes in a garage or parking space will cause damage. So even if you're not driving your car very much these days, you'll still lengthen the life of the finish and keep it new looking. You clean and polish it with Johnson's Car New. I can tell you that's an easy job, because Car New both cleans and polishes in one application, 2 jobs at once in quick time. Car New is a liquid. You apply it, let it dry, wipe it off. It does an amazing job of bringing back your car's original showroom shine. Then if you want to give the finish added protection, every man has his favorite dish. With the master, he thinks, of 79 Wistful Vista, it's pot roast. And here in the living room, inhaling the luscious aroma wafting in from the kitchen, we find a man with an appetite and a woman with a genius for doing something about it, Fibber McGee and Molly.
Baby, does that smell good? How long before we eat, Molly?
Now, don't get impatient, dearie. It won't be long now.
Yeah, but I'm starved. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse and chase the jockey.
For goodness sakes, McGee, you had ham and eggs and 2 pieces of pie for lunch.
Well, I've been working.
At what?
Oh, different stuff. It took me 3 hours to fix that automatic pencil of mine.
Well, no wonder you're famished, dearie. My goodness, fixing a pencil all afternoon.
Oh, my poor little fingers to the bone.
Now, look, do you think at your age you should exert yourself like that?
Oh, quit kidding.
But just relax, dear. The pot roast is almost done. 17 minutes more.
17?
I cook by the clock, McGee. I believe in perfection in my cooking.
I'll see you do. You cook the best pot roast I ever looped a lip over. If you ever hear any vicious gossip to the effect that I married you for your pot roast, it ain't vicious gossip. It's the ugly truth.
Well, thank you, dearie. Say, did you get that new crystal for your watch today?
Oh, I forgot. I might walk down to Gilly's jewelry store right after dinner and get it.
Are they open?
I'll find out. Give me the phone. Thanks. Hello, operator. Give me Gilly's jewelry store on 14th, just opposite Mert. Is that you? How's every little thing, Mert? It is, huh? Hey, we're having pot roast for dinner tonight, Mert. Yeah, what are you having? Huh? Oh. Well, watch out for the bones.
What are they having for dinner, McGee?
Her little sister's algebra teacher. What say, Mert? Yeah, it took a while. Okay. I'll let it go. Now, let's eat, Molly.
All right, McGee. I'll take up the pot roast while you wash your hands.
Oh, my hands are clean.
Go wash your hands.
But, Molly, my hands are as clean.
McGee!
Okay. How's my shirt?
Good enough. Besides, you haven't got time to change now.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Pot roast. If there's anything I like better than pot roast, it's a second helping of pot roast. I remember one time I was president of the PTA.
The what?
Oh, maybe I never told you. I worked in a pet shop once, and we had a lot of parrots that wouldn't talk. So me and 3 or 4 other fellas started a business to teach parrots how to talk.
What'd you call it?
The Parrot Teachers Association. Oh, my gosh. Who's that?
I don't know, but I hope they don't stay long.
Well, if they do, they're going to have to talk to me over a bowl of hot gravy.
Well, now, listen, don't ask them to eat with us. I only made enough pot roast for 2.
Okay.
Come in.
Good day, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Won't you come in and sit down?
Oh, maybe he hasn't got time to sit down, Molly. Must be about his dinner time.
Oh, I'm in no hurry, McGee. Am I interrupting your dinner by any chance?
If you are, I hope it is by chance. Because we only got barely enough for...
McGee.
Enough for McGee. What's on your mind, Latricia? I can spare you a minute.
Oh, nothing in particular, McGee. I just wanted your opinion on the new big bulletin board on the City Hall steps.
What's that, Mr. Mayor?
Well, it's a huge poster affair, Mrs. McGee, upon which we post air raid information, rationing information, directions about enlistments, and that sort of thing.
Well, I think it's great. Well, it's nice to drop in, Latrivia. I'll be seeing you.
Now, listen, McGee. Don't be rude. Maybe the mayor wasn't through talking.
Oh, sure he was.
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
I value the personal opinions of the citizens of Wistful Vista.
You wouldn't value mine right now.
Must be a great help to a mayor to take sort of an informal poll of people's ideas, Mr. Mayor.
It is indeed. I like to proceed cautiously with these things. I go by the old aphorism, a stitch in time saves 9.
9 what?
9 anything.
Now, listen, if you tore something, Mr. Mayor, I'll get needle and thread and fix it for you.
No, it's just an old expression, a stitch in time saves 9.
Well, that's pretty silly. How can you take a stitch in time? They making clocks out of cotton now, so you can...
I was merely quoting an old saw, McGee, to the effect.
Oh, if you tore something on a saw, Mr. Mayor, it must be pretty bad. Turn around, let me see.
I didn't tear anything, Mrs. McGee.
Then what you come busting in here for, yelling for a needle and thread? If you ain't the first false alarm, Latrivia...
I didn't start yelling for a needle and thread, Mrs. McGee.
I never yelled. It isn't ladylike, and besides...
I didn't say you did yell, Mrs. McGee. I merely said...
Stop arguing with my wife.
Look here, McGee, My, something smells good. What is it?
Any days my pot roast. Excuse me a minute, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, certainly.
Funny thing about the missus. The minute she gets dinner ready, she wants to sit right down and eat. And she loves pot roast.
Oh, I don't blame her. So do I.
Yeah. Well, I can take it or leave it myself. Well, it's nice you dropped in, Latrivia. You got my okay on that bulletin board. What'd you do with your hat?
I didn't wear a hat, McGee.
Oh.
I like to walk in the open air bareheaded. It gives me an appetite.
Does, eh?
Certainly does.
Yeah, bet it does at that.
Yes, indeed, really does.
Wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Yes, sir. Gives me a great appetite. You know how it is. A bachelor like me keeping out all the time. Has to work up an appetite.
Well, that's the best way to do it. All right. Brisk walk in the open air. Particularly at about this time of day. Well, I'm sorry you're in such a hurry, Latrivia, because...
McGee, why don't you ask the mayor to sit down? My goodness, anybody think you were rushing him out?
Anybody but him would.
Thank you, Mrs. McGee. I will sit down for just a moment.
Oh.
What's the matter, dearie?
Oh, nothing. Well, what do you know, Latrivia?
Oh, nothing new, McGee. Say, I hope you're not having guests for dinner. I wouldn't want to intrude, you know.
No, Mr. Mayor. There's just McGee and me. And we usually eat in the kitchen when we're alone.
Oh, that's wonderful, Mrs. McGee. That's the way I like it. When I drop in on people unexpectedly and they suggest we have a pick-up meal in the kitchen, I'm just delighted.
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty uncomfortable. Water's always dripping in the sink or percolator bubbles so you can't hear yourself think something. I like to put on a little dog when I eat.
Oh, now, McGee, what are you doing?
Just tightening my belt a little is all.
Oh, losing weight, McGee?
I think I have, recently. Last few hours or so. Well, don't rush away, Latrivia. Just because we were going to grab a bite to eat don't mean...
Not a bit, McGee, not a bit. No, you go right ahead with what you're doing. Forget I'm here.
Now, we wouldn't think of it. Have you seen tonight's paper, Mr. Mayor?
No, and I always do the crossword puzzle, too. Yeah, here it is. Have you got a pencil, McGee?
Yeah, here. And be careful with it. I spent all afternoon. Take it with you, Latrivia. Take the paper, too.
Excuse me a minute, Mr. Mayor. McGee, may I speak to you a minute?
Huh? Sure. Excuse me, Latrivia.
Go on. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah?
What's an 8-letter word meaning a popular dinner dish?
Let me see. 8 letters. What does it begin with?
P-O space R.
I know, pot roast.
That's it.
Oh.
Well, Mr. finished with the puzzle?
No, I've got quite a long way to go yet.
But ain't you getting kind of hungry, Latrivia?
Oh, I don't know. Are you?
Not a bit. How about you, McGee?
Me? Shucks, I had ham and eggs and 2 pieces of pie for lunch. Why should I be hungry? I can go for hours yet.
Yes, so can I.
Well, here we are, aren't we?
Sure are.
What's a 9-letter word meaning appetizing?
Vertical or horizontal?
Well, what difference does it make?
Well, mine make a lot. Asparagus is horizontal, and artichokes are vertical, and they're both delicious.
Thank you very much. Now, let me see. 32 vertical.
Oh, now, come in.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Old-Timer.
Hi there, Garner. Hello, Johnny.
You know Mayor Latrivia, old-timer.
Don't care if I do. Pleased to meet you, Sonny. Stranger in town?
Not exactly.
He's the mayor, Mr. Old-Timer.
Is that so? About time we had a new mayor. Got an awful stuffed vest in the city hall now. Name's Latrivia.
I am Latrivia.
Any relation?
Look, old-timer, this is that Latrivia. He's our mayor.
Congratulations, Sonny. Get in there and pitch. Can't do any worse than that Latrivia.
Please, Mr. Old-Timer, this gentleman is Mr. Latrivia.
Can't be, daughter. Latrivia ain't a gentleman. Hey, Sonny, you look like a fellow I went to school with.
You don't say. I was Princeton 27, and you?
Lockheed 42. Welding school. Where are you working?
We just told you he's the mayor.
Glad to hear it. Whatever become of Latrivia?
Nothing. I'm still here.
Don't change the subject, young fella. I was talking about Latrivia.
But he is Mr. Latrivia.
Same name as the mayor.
Doggone it, he is the mayor.
Is that so? Small world, ain't it? Hey, kid, sign this petition for me, will you?
Certainly. Let me take that pencil, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Right at the bottom there, daughter. That's it. You too, Johnny.
Okay.
Right below. Oh, and you, Sonny, what was the name?
Latrivia.
Name's familiar. We met before someplace?
You just met him here 2 minutes ago.
I did? Time sure drags, don't it? Hey, kid, sign this petition for me, will you?
Certainly. Let me take that pencil, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Right at the bottom there, daughter. That's it. You too, Johnny.
Okay.
Right below. Oh, and you, Sonny, what was the name?
Latrivia.
Name's familiar. We met before someplace?
Just met him here 2 minutes ago.
I did? Time sure drags, don't it?
You don't know the half of it. It's been so long since I ate, I think all my swallows have gone back to Capistrano.
That's pretty good, Johnny. That ain't the way I heard it. Way I heard it. Hey, you signed this petition, Sonny?
Yes, I did.
Much obliged. Way I heard it. One feller says to t'other feller, see. They say it's going to be kind of hard to get gas after July 15th. That's great, says t'other feller. My radishes ought to be up by then. Much obliged, kid. I'll see you later.
Goodbye, Mr. Oldtimer.
Just a minute, sir. That petition we just signed, I didn't read it very carefully.
Oh, we're going to impeach the mayor, Johnny. A fellow named Latrivia.
But I am Mayor Latrivia.
Well, now, don't worry about it. Common name. Met 3 fellas named Latrivia in the last 5 minutes. So long, kids. Glad I've met you, Mr.
Latrivia.
Criminy, another one?
Well, I've held some silly conversations in my day, but that one wins the petty point inner tube.
Don't you think you better trot down to City Hall and do something about that petition, Latrivia?
Certainly not. I'm a great deal more worried about you two good people. I'm afraid I'm keeping you from your dinner.
What on earth gave you that idea?
Yeah, just because we got the table all set and you smell a pot roast cooking on the stove, and I'm beginning to feel faint, and Molly keeps looking at the clock. You needn't jump to conclusions.
No. The longer a pot roast cooks, the better it is, I always say.
It certainly smells delicious. Very fond of pot roast myself, particularly when it's cooked at home. I think the sight of a well-browned pot roast with that delicately flavored gravy oozing out of it is one of the finest... McGee, don't you feel well?
Here, dearie. Sit down a minute.
I'll be all right. Don't mind me.
Do you think it's something you ate?
Whatever it is, it must be very painful. The poor lad's got tears in his eyes. Use your handkerchief, darling.
I haven't got one on me.
What's that up your sleeve there?
That's my napkin, Snoopy.
Hello, folks. What's cooking?
Pot roast, and hasn't it been a lovely day?
Hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry if I'm breaking in on a dinner party. Or is it a dinner party? Oh, on second thought, it's so late you must have all had dinner.
That's two thoughts you've had today, mastermind. So don't push your luck.
Hey, what are you so bad-tempered about, Fibber?
Well, he doesn't feel well, Mr. Wilcox. He feels kind of irritated.
What about, Fibber? What's your beef?
Pot roast. Or have I mentioned that?
I think McGee will be all right if we can get him to eat something, Wilcox.
Maybe some crackers and milk, eh?
Or some tea and toast.
McGee, stop trembling.
Oh, I ain't trembling. I'm just quivering with happiness with everybody taking so much interest in me. What do you want, anyway, Wilcox?
Now, McGee, that's no way to talk to Mr. Wilcox. After all, he represents the sponsor. And if it wasn't for the sponsor, you wouldn't be eating. What am I saying? You'll have to make allowances for him today, Mr. Wilcox.
Sure. Everybody feels like that on occasion. I met a fellow today who was snapping everybody's head off.
He must have been even hungrier than I am.
What did you say, McGee?
He's just talking to himself. What was the matter with your irritable friend, Mr. Wilcox?
Well, it's a funny thing. He was subconsciously annoyed by the dull and dingy looks of his car. I showed him how easy it was to bring back that showroom shine with some Johnson Car New. How it cleans and polishes in one easy operation in practically no time at all. And when he got through car-newing that automobile, he was the cheerfulest, happiest fellow you could ever hope to meet. Gay as a grig, so delighted with that gleaming finish and the simplicity of the whole car-new operation that he insisted on taking me out to lunch.
Lunch. Why doesn't everybody go away and leave me to my memories?
Say, it was some lunch, too. Ice-cold jellied consommé, crisp lettuce salad, a golden brown, light and fluffy mushroom omelet. Oh, hey, grab him, Trivia. He's fainting.
I've got it.
Somebody run and get a glass of pot roast. I mean water.
I'll dash down to the corner. There's a doctor down there.
I don't want a doctor.
I know it, but I promised him a car new demonstration today. See you later.
What's the matter with you, McGee? Every time anybody mentions food, you turn pale.
I think he's a little faint from loss of hunger, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, I'm all right. I think maybe I better run up and go to bed.
Can you sleep on an empty stomach?
He sleeps on his side.
I can go to sleep, all right. All I got to do is just start counting politicians jumping over a pot roast. That always gets...
Come in. Mrs. Huffington.
How do you do, my dear? And Mr. McGee?
Hi, Uppy.
Mrs. Uppington.
Well, truly, what a delightful surprise. I didn't know the McGees were having a guest for dinner. A lovely evening, isn't it?
A nice day, too. Won't you sit down, Abigail?
Oh, thank you. No, my dear. I just stopped in to see if you and Miss McGee had any plans for dinner this evening.
Yeah, we had plans, all right. Anyway, I did. But as the poet says, there's many a slip twixt the skillet and the gullet.
I don't think McGee feels much like eating this evening, Mrs. Uppington. The very mention of food seems to upset him.
Yes, the poor lad. I think he has a touch of oral humidity.
Good heavens. Oral humidity? What is that?
My mouth waters. Why, Jack?
Oh, well, I was eating a alone tonight, and my cook has prepared simply delicious bœuf brassé, and I had rather hoped you would be able to join me. Oh, informally, of course.
Well, thanks, Abigail, but I don't believe we'll be able to. It was nice of you to think of us.
Yeah. I ain't much for those French dishes anyway, Uppy. I'm strictly a eat in the kitchen and holler for more ketchup guy myself.
If I didn't know that I was deserting McGee when he doesn't feel well, Mrs. Uppington, I'd accept your invitation myself.
Well, I'm terribly sorry, Miss McGee. Perhaps some other time.
Okay, if I live. I think I got a bad case of malnutrition. My tummy is so wrinkled you could grab me by the head and feet and play me like an accordion.
Well, I wouldn't think of doing such a thing. But you know, I was so sure that you particularly, Mr. McGee, would enjoy a bit of brassé.
Oh, I don't think so, Abigail. He usually shies away from those foreign specialties. As he says, he's just a Yankee Doodle for a bean and a noodle.
Well, some other time, perhaps. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I'd really like to have gone over there, dearie, but everything's always so fancy.
Yeah, I always feel that I ought to be eating my olives with gloves on over there. Hey, Latrivia.
Yes?
You're an educated guy. What was this bœuf brassé her cook dreamed up?
You don't know?
No, what is it?
Pot roast.
That's good, boy. Look, Latrivia, if you'd left when Wilcox did, he might have given you a lift in his car.
I wouldn't think of leaving till I'm sure you'll be all right, McGee.
Oh, he'll be all right, Mr. Mayor. I think I'll put him right to bed.
With no dinner?
Oh, food on dinner. Men, good night's sleep is just as valuable.
Not me. I've got to have my dinner. But if you're going to bed, I guess I'd better be going to a restaurant someplace.
Well, it's nice you dropped in, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we're sorry we're not going to Trivia. I get awful hungry for a good rest-cooked meal now and then.
Don't be silly, McGee. I smelled that pot roast.
What pot roast? Oh, that pot roast. Well, that's for lunch tomorrow. Well, good night, Mr. Mayor.
Good night. Good night, McGee.
Good night, Latrivia. Oh, boy. Now for that pot roast. I thought that guy would never go home.
Looks like we'd have to start taking our meals behind locked doors, dearie.
Well, come on. I got just enough strength left to lift the first mouthful of pot roast, and then when I...
McGee, look at my pot roast is ruined.
Huh?
It's all cooked away.
Let's see.
Oh,
my God. Oh, my. Oh, looks like a retread on a retread. Doggone that Latrivia anyway. He's responsible for this. Next time
never mind that, McGee. Get your hat. We got to go out and eat.
Huh?
Come on.
Okay. Well, let's go someplace where they got pot roast.
All right.
Now, I've been all puckered up for pot roast for 3 days. Come on, Molly. Let's hurry.
Oh, my. I hope we can get a table right away, McGee. I'm starved.
You're starved. Gee whiz, I can even eat spinach. Hey, sis, can we get a table?
I think so, sir. I have one right over here. This way, please.
Thank you, dearie. No, I almost felt sorry for Mayor Latrivia, McGee. I wish we'd asked him to eat with us.
Not me. The way that wolf moved in on us, I wouldn't split a pea with him.
Here you are, sir. Here's the menu.
Oh, boy. Let me study this a minute.
McGee, will you look? The specialty for today.
Where?
At the top of the page there. Pot roast.
Ah, baby. This is my lucky day.
Sure.
Hey, sis, bring me a double order of that pot roast. How about you, Molly?
No, just a bowl of soup and some green salad.
Okay.
Yes, madam. But I'm afraid I have bad news for you, sir.
Huh?
The pot roast is all gone. I just served the last portion of it to that gentleman over there.
Where?
The gentleman with his back toward you at the next table.
Oh, well, we can't have everything. Hey, Bud, how's the pot roast?
Excellent. In fact... Oh, hello, McGee.
Latrivia!
Maybe you've already noticed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Navy wants and needs 30,000 pilots a year to be trained on a 12-month program of flight training. The requirements are simple. They want young men between 18 and 27, high school graduates, who have been American citizens for at least 10 years. All those successfully completing the course will be commissioned as ensign with pay and allowances of over $200 a month.
Yes, it's a wonderful and thrilling opportunity for young men to find a new glory under old glory.
Join the Navy and see the world made into a decent place for free people to live in. Good night.
Good night, all.
Our next broadcast is the brainchild of American comedy duo George Burns and real-life wife and partner Gracie Allen. In September of 1934, their 30-minute program premiered as The Adventures of Gracie. The title changed in 36, and from 36 till 50, the series switched back and forth between NBC and CBS until it was canceled. They re-emerged on television with a successful situation comedy which lasted from 1950 to 1958. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present Burns and Allen on HOJO Radio.
Well, hello. Come right in. Oh, George, we've got company.
This is Bill Goodwin speaking for Lever Brothers, makers of Swan, the new white floating soap. Well, it's Tuesday night again, time for another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen. Their two distinguished guests, Hosea Turby and Deems Taylor, Jimmy Cash, and Paul Whiteman and his music. And now meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie. Well, Gracie is still determined to play at Paul Whiteman's concert at Carnegie Hall next Tuesday. She's practicing now, and George and Paul are trying to make her listen to reason.
Gracie, you can't do this to me. You'll ruin my reputation.
What'd you say, Paul?
I said you can't do this to me. You'll ruin my reputation.
What'd you say, Paul?
For Pete's sake, will you stop playing and listen? Paul said you'll ruin his reputation.
Oh, well, that's silly, Paul. We won't be alone in Carnegie Hall. Thousands of people will be there.
Yeah, that's what he was afraid of.
But, Paul, I played with you last year at a concert given by the Beverly Hills Uplift Society.
But this is different. This is Carnegie Hall. All the critics will be there.
What'd you say, Paul?
I said all the critics will be there.
Pardon me, Paul. Hello? Oh, yes, the insurance company. Well, look, here's what I wanted. I'm going to play the piano in Carnegie Hall, and I want to insure my finger. Which finger? Why, the one I play the piano with. What? Oh, my, that's a lot of money. Well, I'll tell you what. Just insure it up to the first knuckle. Goodbye.
Gracie, we've been friends for a long time. Why don't you forget the concert?
What'd you say, Paul?
I said forget this concert.
Pardon me, Paul. Hello? Oh, hello, Mr. Steinway. No, I haven't decided yet. I may use yours or I may use somebody else's. Yes, I understand that you're willing to pay me. Well, I'll let you know later. Goodbye, Mr. Steinway.
You mean Mr. Steinway is willing to pay you? Steinway, the piano maker?
No, this Mr. Steinway makes celery tonic.
Celery tonic?
Yes, he wants me to have a bottle of it on the piano when I appear at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, Max Steinway celery tonic.
Yes.
Well, that's a real artistic touch.
Gracie, you've got to call this off. I won't stand for
What'd
it.
you say, Paul?
He said he won't stand for it.
Oh, persecute me as much as you like. I don't mind. Life has never been kind to great musicians. Look at Rimsky-Korsakov. Life must have been very difficult for him, especially if he liked to drink.
If he liked to drink?
Yes. Suppose he had a few drinks and somebody said, "Who are you?" And he had to say, "I'm Rimsky-Korsakov."
Yes, that's even hard to say when you're sober.
Yes.
Look, Gracie, you can't go through with this. It's musical suicide.
Oh, pardon me,
Critics
Paul,
will pan
pardon
me.
me.
They'll be on my ear. I
down.
can't begin to tell you what to...
Well, it looks like we can't stop her, Paul. Yes, sir, that's what it looks like. We can't stop her.
That's great. They used to call me the king of jazz, but from now on I'll be called the Mussolini of music.
Hey, fellas, what's doing? Bill, look, we can't make Gracie give up the concert. Have you any ideas?
Well, let me see, George. Have you tried threatening her?
Bill, I told her that if she went through with this concert, she could start looking for a new husband.
Uh-huh. Well, why don't you try threatening her?
Well, what do you want me to do? Threaten to beat her? Threaten to whip her or to stop her?
Oh, now you can make a worse threat than that, George.
What?
Threaten to take away her swan soap. Now, Gracie knows that Swan is the new white floating soap that's purer than finest Castiles, a regular Suds and Whiz.
Bill, this is serious. Paul Whiteman's reputation is at stake.
Yeah, what do you think those critics are going to do to me?
The critics? Well, Paul, as the bar Swan said to the dirty dishes, here's where you get panned.
Oh, no.
You know, George, Swan is really great in that dishpan because it's purer than finest Castiles, and because it suds faster than other white floating soaps. And because it's purer than finest Castiles, it's kind to your hands. Helps keep them soft and lovely. So use Swan for every soap and water job around the house.
Bill, if you can think of a way to keep Gracie from playing the piano when Carnegie Hall say so. And if you can't...
Wait, George, I've got it. Listen, I'll have a microphone in the wings, and every time Gracie starts to play, I'll start to sing and drown her out, huh?
You'll sing?
Oh, sure, Paul. Something popular like, break it off, break your bar, Swan, in two. Break it off, break it off. Break it off. Well, George, you get the idea. I sing about Swan breaking in two with a simple twist of the wrist, so you can use half in the kitchen for dishes and cleaning and the other half in the bathroom for your hands and face.
Bill, I've got enough trouble. You're not going to sing about Swan at my concert.
Oh, well, Paul, if Gracie plays the piano, the whole concert will be your Swan song.
Goodbye. Well, he was a big help. I wish I knew someone who could just talk Gracie out of this.
Say, wait a minute. What about Deems Taylor?
Deems Taylor?
Yeah, you know, that big shot with the Allegro and Donnie Mob.
Do you really think he can help us?
Sure. If Deems tells Gracie not to play, she won't play. Nobody in music packs more weight than he does.
Well, I wouldn't say that, Paul.
Slip of the tongue, George, slip of the tongue.
Oh, Gracie.
In here.
Gracie, I'd like to talk.
Later, dear. Herman and I are busy discussing the opera, aren't we, darling?
Well, that's fine. Discussing opera with a silly duck. Oh, yeah? Well, you're one with feathers.
Well, I don't blame Herman a bit. He thinks we don't know anything about opera, Herman. Come on, darling. Let's show him. Ready? Da 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 da.
Oh, no.
Da 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 da.
This is awful.
It is not. Don't mind him, Herman. I think you're wonderful. Come on. Da 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 da.
This is Paul Whiteman. There's a big hit from a new picture. And the boys come up with their arrangement of Taking a Chance on Love.
Gracie, will you please give up the silly concert?
No, George, and let's not argue any further. You just don't realize that I've got music inside of me.
Okay, but do you have to let it out in Carnegie Hall?
It's just no use, George.
Well, maybe I can't talk you out of it, but I'm expecting someone here any minute who can. Deems Taylor.
Who?
Deems Taylor. Don't you know who Deems Taylor is?
I don't even know who Deem is.
Gracie, Deems Taylor is one of the finest musicians in America.
I don't care. He can't talk me out of it.
But he's important. He's even composed a couple of operas.
He has?
Sure.
Real operas like Carmen or Miranda?
Yeah, the names of his last two are Faust and Luce. Come in.
How do you do? I'm Deems Taylor.
Well, come right in, Mr. Taylor. I'm George Burns, and this is Gracie.
Hello, and you can't talk me out of it.
Well, Gracie, in fairness to you, I think I ought to hear you play before we begin this discussion. Would you?
Oh, well, gladly. This is the piece I'm going to present in Carnegie Hall.
That's all of it?
Well, yes. Didn't it do something to you?
Certainly did. I'm sure it did something to Chopin, too, and he's not even here.
You see, George, Mr. Taylor thinks I'm wonderful.
You'd better straighten this out fast, Deems.
Right. Gracie, I'm a man who has devoted his life to the classical traditions of music. In fact, well, many people refer to me as a long-haired musician.
Oh, well, that's not nice. They shouldn't make fun of you just because you haven't...
Gracie.
Well, he hasn't.
Never mind.
No, I mean that I'm qualified to defend those traditions. Really, Gracie, you shouldn't play in Carnegie Hall.
Why not?
Well, may I tell you a little story?
Well, can George hear it, too, or is it, you know?
Well, no, this story hasn't even a trace of, you know. It concerns a young man of my acquaintance, a real virtuoso.
Oh, doesn't drink or smoke, huh?
As far as I know, he doesn't even chew gum. But that's beside the point. For years, this young man has been trying to get into Carnegie Hall. 12 hours every day, he sits at the piano. No food, no rest. But he doesn't mind that. Only one thing bothers him.
No cushion.
He doesn't need a cushion. Gracie, don't you understand why I told you that story?
Well, of course I do.
Good.
You want me to give the poor man a ticket to my concert?
George.
I know, Deems. That's Gracie.
She must be so confusing to come home to.
You said it.
Well, you see, Mr. Taylor, I don't have to practice like that poor man. Mine is a natural gift. My whole family is musical.
Indeed.
Oh, yes, indeed. It only took my sister Bessie 5 years to learn to play the cello.
Well, isn't 5 years rather long to learn to play the cello?
Oh, I don't think so. Not when you consider that for 4 years she thought she was supposed to blow into it.
George!
I know.
Baffling, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, well, come in.
Hello, Gracie. Oh, I see you have company.
Mr. Taylor, this is my girlfriend, Tootsie Sagwell. I hope you'll forgive her if she seems a little forward. You see, she's simply crazy about musicians and other types of men.
Say, Deems, you were talking to Gracie, remember?
Oh, yes. As I was saying, Gracie, your musical talent is at least open
He's cute,
to...
isn't he, Tootsie?
Yeah. I love his dimples.
Girls, would you please let the man talk? Go ahead, Deems.
Thanks. Well, as I was saying, Gracie, your musical talent isn't what you might
Don't you
call...
think his eyes are nice, Tootsie? Trustful, sort of like a St. Bernard.
Yes, and I adore that straight nose and that high forehead.
Good. Would you girls just stop dissecting me just long enough for me to finish a sentence? As I was saying, Gracie...
Don't you love his ears, Tootsie? He's got so much character in them.
Gracie, I'm telling you for the last time, I want you to listen to what Deems is saying. And don't interrupt him again.
Yes, dear. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Deems.
Well, as I was saying, music, Gracie, is a thing that one either has within him or one doesn't have at all. Now, I want to be fair in your case. I've given the matter very careful consideration, and, Gracie,
You
it's
don't
my
think he's
honest
too old
opinion.
for you, do you, Tootsie?
Well, That I'm not quite sure of, Gracie, but don't worry, I'm planning to find out.
Oh, no, you're not. I'm getting her out of here right now. Goodbye.
Wait, James. You can't go. Think what will happen to music.
Brother, I can't stay. Think what'll happen to me.
That's fine. Now look what you've done. Chased Deems Taylor right out of the place.
Well, George, this time I don't blame you for being upset. I know you feel awful about it, and I do too. Really, I do.
Well, you ought to feel awful.
Oh, I do. He was the nicest fiancé Tootsie ever had. Oh, don't cry, Tootsie. I'd do anything to get you a fella. Anything. I'd even give up my musical career. Oh, Gracie. Oh, Tootsie.
Oh, nuts. Cut it out.
There's a rose that grows on no man's land, and it's wonderful to see.
The rose Jimmy Cash is singing of is the girl who walks through the heat of gunfire, through the fog of shell smoke, who stops her march only to help the wounded. The girl who wears the Red Cross. It's the Red Cross which comes to the boys to heal their wounds. The men and women of the Red Cross stand beside our boys, beside your boy, in every battle zone. But they may stand there with empty hands, with no way to give help now that the need is greatest, if they are not supplied with the weapons of mercy. Give to the Red Cross so that it may continue to give to the fighting men it serves.
Mid the war's great curse and the Red Cross nurse, she's the rose of no man's
All right. How do you do? I'm Jose Turby. How do you do? Paul Whiteman phoned and said you were coming, Mr. Turby. Do you think you can keep Gracie from doing this concert?
Mm-hmm. Certainly. I will tell your wife that I, myself, will play for Mr. Whiteman.
You don't know my wife. She thinks she's a better pianist than you'll ever be.
You must marry some very peculiar people, Mr. Burns.
Yes, that I do. Oh, Gracie.
Yes, sir.
Gracie, I'd like you to meet Senor Jose Turby.
Senor Turby? Oh, aren't you the man who sells my husband his cigars?
Gracie, Mr. Turby sells very few cigars. Maybe not a half a dozen Coronas a month.
Oh.
I am a pianist, Mrs. Burns. And I would like to play in Carnegie Hall next week instead of you.
Why, Mr. Turby, do you want to ruin Paul Whiteman's concert?
It wouldn't ruin it. Really, I play the piano as well as you do.
Oh, please.
But I do. Suppose we have a little contest to decide who is the better pianist.
Well, that's all right with me. And may the best woman win.
Well, this is what I've been waiting for.
Now, I want you to listen very carefully, Mr. Turby.
Well, go on.
Well, that's the piece I'm going to play in Carnegie Hall.
That?
Well, sure.
Esta mujer está completamente fuera de ella.
I know just how you feel, Jose.
Now, I want you to listen very carefully, Mrs. Burns, while I play.
Oh, come in.
Hello, people. What goes on?
Shh, Bill. Mr. Turby is just about to play something on the piano.
Oh, gee, it's Jose Turby, the maestro himself. Oh, Mr. Turby, this is a great thrill for me.
Well, thank you.
Yes, you see, I'm studying the piano myself, and, well, I know you great artists don't usually divulge your professional secrets, but, would you tell me something?
Certainly. What is it?
Well, Mr. Turby, Do you wash your hands with Swan? Swan, the new white floating soap that's purer than finest Castiles. You know, money can't buy a purer soap.
Bill, for heaven's sake, Mr. Turby, you're just about to play.
Really? Oh, well, I want to hear this. I wouldn't stop Jose Turby from playing.
Thank you.
Oh, wow! You're a murder maestro. Murder! How long have you been playing the piano?
I started to play when I was 3.
Get that, George. 3 years old, an infant prodigy, a baby. Did your mother bathe you with Swan, Mr. Turby? Bill! Swan is great for bathing the baby, you know. It's so pure that it's kind even to a little baby's tender skin. So you know it must be great for your hands and face, your tub or shower. Well, go ahead, play.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Turby.
What now?
You're from Spain, aren't you?
Yes.
Of course you've visited Castile.
Certainly.
Well, you know, Jose, women have long considered Castile soap the standard of purity. But Swan is even purer than finest Castile.
All right, Bill, that's the last straw. Out, out.
Well, okay, George, I'm going. Well, so long, Mr. Turby. Certainly was a thrill to hear you play.
Well, I'm sorry about the interruption, Jose.
Oh, that's all right. I understand.
Oh, good. Well, go right ahead and play.
Oh, yes, by all means, Mr. Turby.
Now, quiet, Gracie.
Well, Gracie?
Well, it was nice, but of course I'm a concert artist and I don't know anything about that boogie-woogie.
Boogie-woogie?
Well, it's obvious who won the contest, Mr. Turby, but don't take it to heart. You play very nicely with some of your fingers.
This is too much.
Well, goodbye, Mr. Turby. I have to get back to my girlfriend. She had a very sad experience today. She lost her fiancé, and I promised her I'd do anything in the world to get... Hey, wait a minute. Mr. Turby, would you really like to play that concert?
I certainly would.
Well, I think it might be arranged.
Really? You'll let him do it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy, that's all I want to hear. Wait till I tell Whiteman the good news.
Good. Now everybody's happy, and the concert will be a true artistic success. I will lay them in the aisles. Well, so long.
Oh, wait, Mr. Turby, that isn't all. Have you heard the expression, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours?
Mm-hmm. No, but it sounds like fun.
Well, it means swapping favors. I've done you a favor. Now, I want you to do me a favor.
What do you want me to do?
Well, I want you to make love to a girl.
That's a favor?
Yes.
What sort of a girl is she?
Well, what sort of a girl do you like?
Mm-hmm. Well, I like them blonde. I like them brunette. I like them tall. I like them short. See what I mean?
Well, how wonderful. I found a man for Tootsie.
Tootsie?
Yeah, and just wait until you see her. She's so different. She's right in the other room.
I must feast my eyes on this little tomato. Ask her to come out.
Oh, Tootsie. Yes, Gracie? Mr. Jose Turby, a piano player, is out here. He'd like to meet you.
Yes, Tootsie, please, come out.
Well, all right.
Here I am. Please, go back in. Mrs. Burns, may I ask you a question?
Yes, Mr. Turby?
This is, a girl? I will go even further. This is, a woman?
Well, she's my very dearest friend. And don't forget, either you make love to Tootsie or I'll play the concert.
You are a very tough character, Mrs. Burns.
Well, what do you say?
This is the most difficult decision. If I don't make love to Tootsie, you will play the concert.
Yes.
If that happens, I will never be able to hold up my head again. Everyone will say, Jose Turbi is a traitor to music.
Oh, come, Mr. Turby. Are you a coward?
Enough. I have made up my mind.
Well, here's Paul, Jose. I told him the good news.
Yes, Jose, and I can't thank you enough. Well, you saved my life.
Mine, too. For the first time in 3 weeks, I can relax.
Oh, what a wonderful feeling. Now, Jose, how about playing the number we'll hear at my concert?
Okay, boys. This is the number you will hear at Carnegie Hall next Tuesday night.
Quiet, everybody. Go ahead, Jose.
George and Gracie will be right back, so I've just time to remind you that although Swan is purer than finest Castiles, it's economical for every soap and water job around the house. In the bath, Swan gives more soap per penny than any leading toilet soap tested. And in the kitchen, Swan saves over easy-to-waste package soaps. So help save your hands, and incidentally save your pocketbook, with Swan, the new white floating soap that's purer than finest Castiles. And now here they are again, George and Gracie.
George, I've been thinking things over. This concert is coming between us.
It certainly is.
After all, I'm first a wife and second a musician.
That's right.
My first duty is to you.
Absolutely.
Well, here's a ticket in the first row at Carnegie Hall next Tuesday.
Good night,
The makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, join George and Gracie in inviting you to tune in to your CBS station at the same time again next week, when Gracie will be guest soloist in Paul Whiteman's concert at Carnegie Hall. Remember, George Burns and Gracie Allen, CBS next Tuesday night. And don't forget to listen to Swan's other show, Tommy Riggs and Betty Lou, next Friday night over another network. And now, till next week at the same time, this is Bill Goodwin saying, well, hi, Swan. How about you? Night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. KNX Los Angeles, the voice of Hollywood.
Keep it tuned right here to HOJO Radio for more classic old-time radio.
Sorry, only a quarter pound of butter to a customer.
Sorry, lady, I haven't any steak today. No matter what foods are short, you've got to get enough vitamins. But when you buy vitamins, follow these two simple rules. Rule 1.
Get all the vitamins government experts say are essential.
Rule 2.
Get them in the balanced formula doctors endorse.
Get Vims. Vims supply all the essential vitamins and all the minerals commonly lacking. VI for vitamins, double MS for minerals. Vims.
Well, hello. Come right in. Oh, George, we've got company.
This is Bill Goodwin speaking for Lever Brothers, makers of Swan, the new white floating soap. Well, it's Tuesday night again. Time for another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen, Jimmy Cash, and Paul Whiteman and his music. And now meet the people who live in the Burns house. George and Gracie, here they are. Well, folks, this is the night. The night on which Gracie has sworn to play the piano at Paul Whiteman's concert in Carnegie Hall. As the 0 hour approaches, the music world stands aghast, stunned, appalled at the impending disaster. Says one of New York's leading music patrons.
Oh, I can't understand Paul Whiteman allowing this outrage. After all, Mr. Whiteman has one of the widest backgrounds in music.
Also, told of Gracie's concert, Leopold Stokowski summed up the entire situation when he said, Meanwhile, in her New York hotel room, Gracie is getting ready to leave for Carnegie Hall, while George, exhausted but still game, tries to reason with her.
Gracie, listen to me. If you give up this concert, I'll do anything in the world you want me to do. Anything at all.
Anything?
Anything.
Can my mother come and live with us?
Well, Gracie, I'll be happy to have your mother come and live with us.
Oh, I'm awfully glad you feel that way, dear, because the trunks arrived today.
Oh, well. Anyway, you're going to call the concert off.
Oh, no, dear. My concert tonight is dearer to me than anything in this world.
Dearer to you than me?
Yes, George. It's even dearer to me than Herman.
Well, I give up.
Oh, just think. All the celebrities will be in Carnegie Hall tonight. The mayor, the governor, the 400. Maybe even the big business tycoons like Mr. Black. And also
Mr. Black?
Yes.
He's a business tycoon?
Oh, he must be. I've heard so much about his famous chain of markets.
Oh, the black market. See what you mean.
Oh, dear, and there in the middle of the stage, under a brilliant spotlight, will be a white piano. Now, I walk from the wings and sit down at the piano. The house falls down.
Just in time.
I lift my hand above the keyboard like this. A dramatic pause, and then a flood of golden melody pours from my finger.
Then what happens?
Bedlam breaks loose.
You're not kidding.
I take bow after bow. They bring up flowers. The mayor presents me with the keys to the city, and I say, "Thank you, Bud." And then
Wait a minute. You're going to call Mayor LaGuardia a bud?
Well, isn't that a little flower?
Oh, yes. Bud, I get it.
And then I want you to walk on the stage and take a bow with me, George.
I'm not going out on the stage tonight at Carnegie Hall. In fact, I'm not going to be there at all.
Oh, but dear, I want you to share in the glory. I want everybody to applaud you and cheer for you. I want people to look at you with admiration and say to each other, "I wonder who he is."
Well, just forget it. I'll be afraid to show my face after this concert. Not alone go to Carnegie Hall.
Come in.
Gracie!
Tootsie!
Oh, Gracie, you'll never believe the news. My wildest dream has been realized. The impossible has come true.
Well, what, Tootsie, what?
A man asked me for a date.
Oh, no.
Yes. Oh, significant.
Oh, murder. Look, if you girls will pardon me, I'll go in and phone this to Ripley.
Oh, well, tell me all about your boyfriend, Tootsie.
Oh, he's divine. Strong as an ox and twice as handsome.
Well, Tootsie, how did you meet him?
Oh, it was just luck. He's a taxi driver, and I happened to take his cab. That's all.
Well, what happened?
Well, he drove along in silence for a while, and then he turned around and said to me, "Has anyone ever told you you're beautiful?" And I said, "No." And then we drove along in silence for a while more.
Oh, Tootsie, it sounds so romantic. Then what happened?
Well, in a little while he asked me to come up front with him, so I did, and then he began to make love to me.
Oh, did he stop the cab?
No, but he turned off the meter.
Say, Tootsie, he was pretty fresh.
I know. Isn't it wonderful?
Well, tell me, didn't you say anything to him at all?
Well, I think I did say wow a couple of times.
Oh, well, I just can't blame you, Tootsie. Oh, imagine you having a date. Are you going to bring him to Carnegie Hall?
Well, I don't know, Gracie. You see, being a taxi driver, he has to go right on working while we date. He'll drive with one arm and date with the other.
Oh. Well, look, if you drive by Carnegie Hall, try to get him in for a few minutes. Oh, come in.
Hi, Gracie. Is George around? I got some wonderful news for him.
Well, he was here a minute ago, Bill.
Hello, Bill.
Oh, hello, Tootsie.
Didn't you see me standing over here?
Well, I wasn't sure, Tootsie. You see, I had lobster for dinner, and sometimes it doesn't agree with me.
Oh, Bill Goodwin, you stop being mean to her. If you don't, her steady beau will give you a good whipping.
Her steady what? Well, excuse me, girls. I've got to find George. This is very important. Oh, George. George.
What is it, Bill?
George, listen. I've got an idea how we can keep Gracie from doing that concert.
Really, Bill?
Absolutely. I guarantee to keep Gracie out of Carnegie Hall tonight.
Oh, great. Well, tell me about it, quick.
Well, I got the idea riding along in a taxi.
Yes?
I start talking to this taxi driver, see? I said, how's business? He said, fine, and yours?
Yes.
I said, Swan. He said, Swan, the new white floating soap that's purer than finest Castiles? I said, that's right, a regular suds and whiz.
Bill, please, the idea. What is the idea?
Well, I'm coming to it, George. Now the subject switches to current events. We talk about Congress, food rationing, the war in Russia, washing the dishes.
Bill.
Well, George, when he mentioned dishes, I had to tell the kid that Swan was great for washing dishes because it suds faster than other white floating soaps. And because it's purer than finest Castiles, it's always kind to your hands.
Bill, for heaven's sakes, tell me the idea. How are we going to keep Gracie out of Carnegie Hall tonight?
Well, I'm coming to it, George. Now we hit a red light, and this taxi driver stops so suddenly it almost breaks me in two.
I know. So you tell him that Swan breaks in two with an easy twist of the wrist. And you can use a half in the kitchen and half in the bathroom.
Gee, were you there, George?
Bill, please, the idea. Gracie will be leaving for the concert any minute.
Well, here it is. Now, get this. We slip my friend the taxi driver a $10 bill, and we plant him here in front of the hotel. Now, when Gracie gets in, he takes her any place but Carnegie Hall.
Say, that sounds wonderful. Where'll he take her?
I don't care. Brooklyn.
Hey, wait a minute, Bill. I still love that girl.
Well, okay, he'll drive her around the park. Now, you get Gracie ready. I'll have the taxi waiting in front of the hotel.
Swell. Get going.
Okay.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, no, not that. Oh, Gracie.
Yes, dear.
Sweetheart, I've been thinking things over, and I've changed my mind. I want you to do the concert tonight.
Oh, George, do you mean that?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so glad. We would never have these silly misunderstandings if you were more like me. Whenever we have an argument, I always see things my way.
I know.
Oh,
well,
George, you'll be so thrilled when you hear me play the works of the great masters. Of course, I don't play them exactly as they wrote them. I put in my own improvements. Well, you know, you might say that they composed them and I decomposed them.
How true. Well, come along, darling. It's almost time to leave for Carnegie Hall.
And now, here's Jimmy Cash with a song that's going places. The tulips are talking tonight. Jimmy?
Clouds are gray in the skies over Holland, but I hear that the clouds in the skies over Holland soon will clear. The tulips are talking tonight. They're saying through the darkness there is light. They whisper, for the sound of marching feet is near. They whisper, and the hearts of Holland hear. The windmills are spreading the word, and through the fields a song of hope is heard. The tulips are naming the day, and Holland's children believe what the
Well, Gracie's getting ready to leave for Carnegie Hall. Poor Gracie. She doesn't know that George and I are cooking up a deal with a taxi driver to keep her away. Well, here she is talking to her little duck, Herman.
Oh, isn't it thrilling, Herman? Just think, in a few hours, Mama will be the rage of New York.